Away podcast. Take Me 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 Away podcast.
Welcome to Take Me Away podcast, where we talk about mental health, because it's very important to talk about mental health. 'Cause everybody goes through it. I don't care who you are. Right, Chris? Hey, yo, Chris. Where'd you go, Apocalypse? Chris, you there? Anyways, so this is a show where I created to talk about mental health or whatever, and I want to get something across. Mild intellectual disability, which is a least severe form. Hello? What up? What? Can't hear you. Severe intellectual disability characterize significant limitations in both intelligent functions and adaptation behavior. It typically manifests during development periods before the age of 18, which used to be called retardation, which is the mild form of it. There's a lot of people in here that go through it a lot. I know my significant other goes through it a bunch and whatever, not a bunch, but she goes with other disabilities and that other people have and stuff like that. So, it's very important it's very real stuff, Sometimes people have to go take medication for it, because there's no way around it. If you can get around without taking medications, do so. But if you have to take medication to calm that down, then I encourage it. As long as you don't abuse it. Because sometimes people can get on stuff or whatever because they have, their mindset, or whatever, and then they go into abusing that situation, which isn't always healthy either, Along with other, mental health, they all got like bipolar, which is, just different types of bipolar and all this stuff, medications, Like I said, sometimes you have to take medication, but try not to if you can. Hey, Chris, you there? You went mute. Hey, yo, Chris.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up?
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Take Me Away podcast.
Yeah, we are live now. You got anything to say about mental health there, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody experiences it. They may not know it, but the best thing to do is talk to somebody that you might not know, like your pet or something. That stuff helps just to get it off your chest.
You should you got any you got numbers that you can pull up and show so people have to, they can dial that number or whatever.
Do I have a number they can call?
Yeah, like could you pull up information like different numbers that people can call in case they have to call someone like the suicide hotline or like a 3-digit number or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
In case like people, in case they need to call somewhere or whatever, they should call like suicide hotline or you know or even dial a friend's number or talk to a friend, whatever best works for you, instead of just sitting there petty in your own sorrows, because that's not necessarily a good thing either.
Right, right. Is Apocalypse there?
He's here, but I don't know. He's quiet. I don't know if he's hit home yet or not. Because I was waiting on him to come in because he said he had some mental health topics to talk about. I need to pull up my Gmail.
I don't know what's going on. It's not pulling it up on the screen.
Not pulling it up on the screen. Frank Mathers says he's trying to get in. It wouldn't work. He said to send him the link. Hey Chris, did you hear me?
Okay, there we go. You
There you
could
go.
call that number right there for help.
Did you hear me, Chris?
Yeah,
Frank
yeah.
Frank Mathers says he's trying to get in, but he needed you to send him a link again because it isn't working right or something.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, hold on.
We're currently
Okay,
waiting.
I sent him the link. They can call that number. And then there's another one too as well. Let me pull that one up real quick. There's a
Yeah, call
website.
988 if you need someone to talk to, just to, and if you have to go, if you're feeling like you have to go to the hospital or whatever, then I encourage you to do because it can help. Even though you may be scared to go, it's a good thing to go because they can get you the help that you possibly need. What up, Frank
Okay, here you
Mathers?
go. Here's another one. Text hello to 741 741. That's one
741.
right there. That's 741 741. Text hello.
Yeah, this is
And
all
here's some other
information
for
you
you.
could get. Call these numbers. I encourage you to call these numbers or whatever to get the help that you possibly need.
Yeah,
Instead
there's a
of
bunch
having to call,
of ones.
instead of having to call 911, you can call these numbers or whatever, dial these numbers, and talk to someone through that line, and they can help you, assist you, because they're trained in these, whatever it is, you have to help you along and get you to the right place that could help or whatever. And if you don't feel like calling 911, because I know people that are like feel like they want to go and get help, but they're too, you know, afraid or scared or whatever to call 911 to get the help or whatever. So if you had to call any of these numbers, maybe they can call 911 for you or whatever. So what's
Much
up,
love,
Frank Mathers?
Bobby Hills.
What up
What's
about
up, Frank Matthews?
you there, Frank Mathers? Did your mic mute?
Yo,
So you
my bad,
got
bro. Y'all right?
What up? What up, Frank
what's
Mathers?
up, fam?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's up, y'all
Yeah,
right? I just
yeah,
pulled
we're
up, so just
live.
make sure everything operate right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live right
Okay.
now.
Say no
So
more
we're
then. Y'all
live
take
right
off.
now.
Listen.
We're talking about mental health on this
What's up
on
on
this
listen? Y'all keep on
podcast.
talking.
What's that?
Let me hear what y'all got going on, you know what I'm saying? Because I really don't know too much about it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here to support.
Oh yeah. So on this show we talk about and discuss about different kinds of mental health or whatever, like mild intellectual disabilities and other bipolars, to get it out there to the world because it's not talked about enough in this world or whatever.
All right, let me share something with y'all. The institution that I'm at, right? You know what I'm saying? Not to say too much, but the institution that I'm at, it have a major realm of mental health within the institution, right? So I'm aware of being around people that actually have mental health issues. Me personally, myself, I haven't experienced it. So that's why I stepped in to try to learn how to deal with them and what else, you know what I'm saying, people out there in society that have these same issues and stuff. So, if y'all can, y'all just teach me what I need to know so I know how to work with everybody.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have it all that bad, but like my significant other deals with a lot of mental health or whatever. So I decided because she goes through it and I'm around it or whatever that I can contribute to some of that experience or whatever, and get the word out, and have other people who not necessarily go through it but are around it or whatever, or other people that are around it to get their stories out to the world or whatever, which is why I created
I'm
this.
with y'all on that. I'm with you here. I'm with you on the move. I'm with you.
Or even dealing with like a abusive or whatever, situation, other significant other or whatever,
Okay.
because that contributes all to your mental health or whatever, like if you're around abusive parent or situation, it's people that are like bottle it up or whatever. It's not a good thing to keep it in there, because then they just explode, and that's part of mental health or whatever. That's why I always encourage people to try to find an outlet like music or whatever, like we do or whatever.
That's a fact, bro. What I do, when I get to that stage of when I feel like I'm about to black out anything like that, or just basically, going to a rage, I normally work out, meditate. So that's my solution for that besides smoking weed and stuff, right? So I have people around me once again that have these issues, and I be trying to figure out what's wrong with them, because sometimes it become uncontrollable, So, people take it the wrong way, and they have a tendency to, like you said, abuse. They have a tendency to abuse these folks, So, I'm trying to find a solution because all they gotta survive within their world, right? So I'm trying to find a solution that actually can stop that from happening. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you can't prevent everything, but when you see these type of illness and stuff like that, I feel like you
Yeah,
should give
right.
people opportunities to actually explain what's going on with them and attack that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like for me, like being around my other significant other, like one of the best things I can do. Like I don't necessarily know what she's going through herself, but like me just being there for her and encouraging, that it's gonna be all right or whatever in the end, and just encouraging her and telling her, telling like if you're with the loved one or whatever, telling that you're not going anywhere, that you love them still, and all that, just encourage them, that you're gonna be there for them and just stand by them no matter what.
Because sometimes that's what it takes. And hopefully, I get it down to where I can execute more of a system for that, right? Because I got a female friend that's over across seas in the UK in Britain. Her name is Weebu. She lives from Zimbabwe. She got a mental health non-profit organization that she deal with it because she deal with mental health herself. So she was trying to teach me a few things and stuff, but our schedules be so sold off that when I do catch up with her, we like 5 hours. Let me refrain that. They're 5 hours ahead of us. So when we do catch up, the time frame be kind of thrown off. So I don't have the opportunity to have a discussion like I'm having with y'all. So I want to learn as much as I can. Like you said, you got a person that you deal with. So I got a mass of people that I deal with this situation every day.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's just about sometimes it's just about being there for them or whatever, Because like sometimes I feel like people like are scared to go to therapists or whatever, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in itself, but sometimes I feel like the best solution may be a friend or someone, or like that, just to be there, because they might not like talking to a stranger, but if you're a close friend of them, you can talk to them, whatever, and they might feel a little bit more ease with the situation of talking to a friend.
And then I want to add something on that. I'm able to talk now. I'm not in the car anymore. Um, Sometimes you don't want to talk to your friends because you feel like they might judge you, or sometimes they go and tell a friend like, oh, so and so is going through this or that. So sometimes it's better to talk to a stranger. Um, And sometimes a therapist, though, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like I liked mine, I could talk to him about whatever. I feel like he wasn't judging me, but he had ADHD like me, so sometimes he would cut me off, or sometimes he would get me off subject. And I'm like, I want to talk about this, bro. That was bothering me, but you're talking about this and relating it to your situations. Like, I mean, yeah, you went through divorce too, so you're trying to compare situations, make me feel better, or whatever. But I want to let this shit out. You know what I mean? So sometimes they could kind of take it in a different direction than what you want to go. But I want to say also, you kind of sometimes have in your mind like, oh, you're only helping me out because I'm paying you. But that it doesn't really matter either way. It was helpful for me, but some people will take it differently and feel differently about it. But I would say, yeah, like Midwest Kid said, talk to somebody. It could be your friend, it could be your parents, it could be what helped me. I was in a funk for months, so I had writer's block and depression. 10 months. I'm just now coming out of the depression. I get there's my times, but waking up, there's a big difference between waking up and you have nobody reached out to you. Nobody, I used to get messages all the time from my girl when I was with her, like, good morning, hopefully you have a good day, blah, blah, blah. It made my day, but then you wake up and you realize nobody cares about you. Nobody's reaching out, not your family, nobody. And it hurts because you're like, nobody cares about me. But then now I'm in all these different rap groups, and the music is therapeutic for me. But also when I'm not rapping, I'm chatting. There's people in there like, hey, what's going on? What's up with you today? Or I'll just start talking about projects with somebody. So I'm staying busy, and I'm joining podcasts like this. I had an interview yesterday. Not everybody's going to feel your music, but and that might not be your thing. Maybe you're not creative in that way, but maybe you like to draw. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe I was doing spray paint art for a little bit. There's got to be
Yeah,
something you're good at, or
yeah,
even half of
that's
it
the
you're good
key.
at. You got to
That's
stay
the key.
busy.
Always keep busy.
Be
Find
busy.
your outlet.
And so there's this dude that I work with, um, and he didn't really like my music when he first met me because I went manic and I wouldn't shut up. All I would talk about is rapping, and I was talking in rhymes. And so when he told my cousin, he goes, "Oh, you're hiring that guy?" He goes, "Damn." He goes, "I hope he's not like how he was when I met him. Is he still like that?" And my cousin's like, "I don't think so," and because some people thought I was on drugs. And what happened was, I didn't think he liked my music or whatever because he made that comment like, damn, dude, you wouldn't shut up. It was kind of annoying. And I'm like, yeah. So I talked to him recently and I told him about the podcast, when I first went on the podcast with Ninja and Off the Grid. And he joined and watched it. And then he told me the next day, he goes, you did really good. And he told me about 2 weeks ago, we're at a job site. And I told him I was thinking about quitting rapping. Some people weren't feeling it. You know what I mean? Battle raps and stuff like that. I get a little negative feedback from it. And he said, do you like doing it? I said, yeah. He goes, then who cares what other people think? I said, yeah, there's always that, who cares, do it anyway because, you know what I mean? Do what makes you happy. I said, yeah, you're right. He goes, you know what? You know how many people told me I'm crazy for wanting to collect snakes? He goes, everybody in my family, everybody said, you're crazy, dude. Don't do it. And he goes, you know what? I got like 8 rattlesnakes. He says, it makes me happy. So screw him.
Yeah, that's the most important thing in this world to keep you saying to do what you like to do. Because
Yeah, he said,
if
regardless if
you
you get
let
paid,
other people in this world dictate your feelings, then you're just gonna continue to go spiral, here downhill.
he said, regardless if your family supports it, regardless if anybody likes it or not, regardless if you get paid or not. He goes, do you like doing it? I said, yeah. He goes, then do it. And then I was like, all right. So that talked me out of, and that's come from somebody that didn't even really like my stuff. He just wants me to be happy.
Yeah.
And like if you, I know a couple of artists that had a girlfriend or something that didn't support their music. They don't gotta support it. but you know what? Don't quit. You know what I mean? Spend some time with them. Yeah. You know, don't make it all about music,
Love you.
but you know, but make sure you have a good balance. But what you don't want to do is quit doing what makes you happy for anybody. If they don't support your music, okay, whatever. They don't share it on their Facebook. They don't press like. They don't comment. Whatever. But if they don't support you doing it, they ain't the one, man. They got to support your happiness.
There's always someone out there that supports you too, you know,
Yep.
whether you know it or not. They're always out there, you know.
Now you could be totally trash, but if it makes you happy, they should be like, all right, bro, go do your music for a little bit. I'm gonna go, get my nails done, or I'm gonna, whatever it might be. Go play video games or something. Like everybody's got their thing that makes them happy. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
if your mental health ain't a concern or a priority for your partner, if they don't care about your mental health, then you shouldn't care about that relationship.
Definitely. You know that my like I keep saying and stressing, my significant goes through situations or whatever, and I'm always there for her no matter what, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anybody right now that tells me if they, are bothered by me doing my music, like I'm doing it too much. So I go hard on it. I do music every day. Sometimes I do up to like 8 songs, or I'll be watching TV writing lyrics. I'll be at work on a ladder writing lyrics.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah. But
driving.
here's the thing, Apocalypse, because I know I've seen it a few times where you overstress yourself. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta sometimes you gotta take time, not like quit, but take time away from it.
Yeah. That's why it would be cool to have a partner because I could do other things. I'd have somebody, I could go on a walk with or something, go to the
You
street.
don't. But here's the thing: you don't necessarily need someone to go on a walk. If you need to go on a walk, you can go on a walk.
Yeah, I'm just one of those that I don't do anything by myself because everything is boring. Like somebody's like, "Oh, go treat yourself, go out to a movie or something." I'm like, I don't watch
You
movies
know,
by myself. I'll go
I
out to
you
eat
know,
by myself. I'll go
I,
out to eat
I've
by myself.
I've done that before. Yeah, and if I really wanted to, like if there's a scary movie, my significant other doesn't want to go, whatever, and she tells me, if I want to go or something, or if I want to go hang out with my friends, or if I want to go, do this, she allows me to do that,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
not a bad thing either. Sometimes you just need to like do things on your own, but still have, whatever.
Yeah, and well, the thing is, like, my ex used to go and we should watch a movie by herself or something. Like, I'd walk in the room, I'm like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm watching a movie," and I'm like, "You didn't invite me," you know what I mean? Like, sometimes she just wanted to do that on her own, and I'm like, "All right, that's cool, that's understandable." Or like, like when we first got together, we'd be talking. I'm like, "Hey, what are you about to do?" She's like, "Oh, I'm about to watch a movie." And I'm just like, damn, you're by yourself. Like, how do you get into a movie by yourself? I can't do that. Like, I used to be able to binge watch. Like when I was married and my wife would fall asleep, I would sit there and still keep watching the episodes. She used to get mad at me all the time. Like it's show cheating. She called
You know what it is though.
it.
You know what it is though. Like when you're in a relationship, yeah, you love that person and all that stuff or whatever. But
After a long time.
being around being around that person too much can cause arguments or whatever. So sometimes you need to take that time and do something. Like she would watch a movie or something. Maybe you should have took that time to watch a movie. To get away, so you're not always around him. You know, and
Well, what I would
eventually
do is
cause.
I would go hang out with my kids and watch a movie, and I'd invite her, hey, we're gonna watch a movie. Do you want to watch it? She'd be like, no, she's gonna go lay down. I walk in there and then she's watching something on TV by herself, and I'm like, sometimes people need that or whatever. But my point was that's not me. Like I watch TV with my uncle and stuff, but like when he leaves, like he's like, hey, you can put whatever on. I just shut the TV off. I'll get on my phone and scroll and watch videos on my phone and stuff like that. But like what I do is because the whole movie, I feel like, man, that's 2 hours. I'm like, I could probably get 2 songs done during that 2 hours. And if I don't feel like recording, I'll just type lyrics.
You know what though? You know what, Apocalypse? Sometimes watching. Here, I'm gonna suggest something to you. Sometimes watching a movie can help you in your ability to write because you can see something and get an idea from
Exactly.
watching
You're right.
a movie.
You're right about that. So
Even if you're writing, even if you're watching it by yourself, you know. Because I watch movies by myself or whatever, and then I'll go write, or I'm watching that movie or something, and an idea will come to my head, and I'll
yeah.
go write about it.
Well, so something happened like that the other day. Now that you mentioned it, and I can't really remember it right now, but it was weird. It's like if I didn't turn on that show, I wouldn't have got that idea or something. And I wrote a whole song about it. And I can't remember what it was, but I know of one example. I was talking to this girl, and I showed her one of my songs. She liked it, and I said, "What should I make my next song about?" And she goes, "Whatever comes to mind." And so I was like, "Whatever comes to mind." I'm like, I can't think of anything. Kind of has writer's block. What would I write about? And then I was like, you know what? I started with that. I said, "You say
Yeah,
you want me to write what's on my mind, so here I go." And I just started going in, and it was a
yeah.
freestyle. I made a whole song, and that's Atomic Bomb. It wouldn't have gotten
I'm
created
gonna
if
give
she
you
didn't say that one line.
I'm gonna
Huh?
give you another suggestion. Research things
I
because
do.
it can help. Because like I researched about this. So I use this lady. I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now, but she's from Minnesota, and she froze to death. Well, she didn't freeze to death, but she got frozen, and then she lived to tell about it. And I used that idea in a song.
That's dope.
So that's why I say research.
And there's things that also they'll trigger a rhyme or something like for instance, I opened up Facebook and or Messenger and I saw all my chats, and so I created that one chat rap where I'm like, these are all my groups, Reckless, with a purpose and all that. And I even gave a shout out to this show on there. I said somebody needs to come take me away, you know what I mean? Or we are error trying to take me away, something like that. I don't remember exactly the bar, but I gave shout outs in there to everybody that I represent, because that's what Apocalypse is about. You know what I mean? My
Yeah.
my Facebook profile is also where I was letting other artists post and tag me, and like I'd put the stuff on my wall, even if they weren't Reckless, even if they weren't part of my team.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
if you need some exposure, I'm gonna help you out because that's the kind of person I am. Because uh,
So
people,
Frank Matthews, say
artists struggle.
Frank Matthews, do you do some research when writing? Frank Matthews.
See, I usually do my research when I get stuck on a bar. I'm like, would this make sense? And then I Google it. I'm like, let me get that definition because I want to make sure it makes sense before I throw it in there. But I already had the idea. Like, I want to put that in the rap. But, I think he's glitching. He had to jump out.
Oh, Ninja's back.
Yo,
What up?
Ninja?
What up, Apocalypse? What up, Midwest Kid?
When
What
you
up?
doing your movie?
Oh, here in
Yeah.
about 2-3 months, we're gonna start filming.
All right.
So Ninja, do you do something when you are going through situations or whatever? Do you sit there and research and write and stuff like that, or
I paid for marketing class.
you pay for marketing classes?
Yeah, I took marketing class. How I made the Off the Grid, yeah, the thing viral. Yeah, it was marketing.
Well, I'm talking about like when you're writing songs or whatever. Do you do like research and stuff like that for situations or whatever?
Oh yeah, you have to. You gotta research everything.
That's what I was telling Apocalypse. Like like suggesting to him like he should research it. You know, sometimes he has to go.
Some people
Yeah,
aren't so great at knowing where to start with research.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Let me ask you, Ninja. Do you will you watch a movie by yourself
would
sometimes?
I watch a movie by myself?
Yes. Or
Um,
do things away from your significant other sometimes because you feel like if you're always around, you start bickering or whatever.
how did this question change? It's like this question keeps changing, like in different ways. You're
I don't
changing
know.
this.
Sorry.
You're changing the question.
Sorry. Answer the first question.
What was the first question again? That's what I want.
Do you watch movies and stuff by yourself?
Do I watch movies and stuff by myself? No.
It's better with a partner, because you got somebody to share it with. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of codependent. That's what my ex-wife used to say. She said, "You don't do nothing on your own, codependent." But I would do. I would go in the studio, and I'm fine in the studio for freaking 4 to 6 hours sometimes. You know, it'd be hot. I'm melting and all that. She told my counselor on me once. She said he stayed in the studio for 3 hours. Like we were supposed to hang out, and he kept saying, "Hold on, a little bit longer, a little bit longer." And before you know it, 3 hours went by. I'm like, well, you know how it is when you're editing a song. You want it to sound right. You know what I mean? Like you can't just quit right in the middle of it and be like, I'll finish the rest later. Because I never get around to it. I'll just start something new.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
you
the
put
only
it in
thing I
the
do on my own, though. I don't
and
go.
I just realized that I got one that I was supposed to do with you on Band Lab called The Battle.
Oh yeah.
And I'm free. I'm gonna work on that one.
Yeah, there's that one. I think it was an open collab. I already got my 2 verses on it, I think.
That's the only other invite that I've got on there.
You know what? I'd rather
Yeah.
invite you to some other stuff, dude, because I've been writing a little bit deeper and stuff. That
On the
one is
podcast?
kind of old. I think it was a
On the
freestyle
podcast?
too. You don't got to worry about that one if you don't want. I don't have a project for that to go on. It's kind of like a back burner project for fun. But I got some stuff.
Okay.
Me and M Dub been working, and we could use you on a couple verses of some stuff like on our album.
Nice. That'd be dope.
Just reach out in the Keep It 100 chat. Me and M Dub, we check that one a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got projects for you, bro.
That's what's up.
I got a freestyle on this Reckless beat that I did. Everybody liked Reckless, so I did a freestyle verse. I was gonna do that one with Wild and Reckless. So if you want to get on that, you could go second. Because that one, since I'm Reckless, but we Wild and Reckless, I was like, it only makes sense to have a Wild and Reckless version of Reckless.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Wild and Reckless in my freestyle, so it's like, yeah, I just used the same beat. You know what I mean? Dude's probably gonna get mad at me. He said I could do the beat, extend it, and make another track or whatever out of it, but he probably didn't mean for me to make 4 remixes. But I love that beat though, bro. Like it's so hard.
Yeah. That's cool.
Sometimes you just. I mean, I did that. I did a track with someone, and then I'm like, well, let me give someone else the opportunity or whatever, you know. So then I went, kind of kept it the same, but then like the last verse or whatever, it's different or whatever. So,
Man, one time I had a rap that I wrote, a verse, and then I made like 6 different versions of it. So one of them had that verse on it, and it got modified, and I ended up writing 6 pages front and back. So I think it was like 12 pages.
you should have broke that down. Should have broke that down into an album.
Yeah, I was just on a good one, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, I could make 3 different songs about it, you know, out of it. But yeah, I used to like, so somebody said Nas did that too. Like he wouldn't know when to stop writing, and somebody had to say like, hey bro, you need to quit and let's break this up into like 3 different songs or whatever, or like start on a new topic. You know, you got the rhymes, but you got to know when to stop. Like, and that's it's kind of like me. And like I'm a mixture of all my influences, like Eminem. He writes on he'll find whatever, like a napkin or whatever. I got rhymes on a hall pass from school that I still have. But he said he used to like turn the page and like in circles and write. That's what the game was saying. And I'm like, I've done that too. I wrote in circles, and you probably can't really read it. It's such small writing, but it's there. Lil Wayne pretty much goes off the head. He doesn't write. I do that a lot too. But yeah, I think the Nas thing, man, that's
Yeah,
it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing too, because people don't want to hear an 8-minute song, you know?
Right. It's hard. It's hard whenever it gets that long, you know.
Yeah, everybody got the TikTok attention span now. They got the 15 seconds, 30 seconds. If it ain't something that's hard within the first 20 seconds, they're clicked off of it.
You're right. You're right.
So, you know, that's why my reels get a lot more attention than my video.
Right. Shorter reels. Yeah. Shorter 15-second reel. All you need is 15 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. It's showing up the worldwide collaboration keychain.
Yeah, no 15 minutes of fame. You just need 15 seconds of fame.
I'm showing off this right here. This is an injection. Looks like a little needle.
Yeah.
Just this thing into my brain.
He got kicked off for promoting whatever records. Yo, yeah, did you want to play any of those tracks I sent?
oh, Ninja's back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Take Me Away.
The Take Me Away podcast.
Yeah, Take Me Away podcast. I gotta do a video a little later.
We got to do another track too. Hey, you know what you should play on here is that Underground Legend, since all three of us is on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
you
I love
got
that. I love that
got
you
that?
jumped on it.
Ninja, you got that?
No, I haven't downloaded that yet. Did you download
I
it?
thought you had
We
it.
haven't even released it yet.
Oh.
We should do it maybe next week or something.
It's not even public yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not even public.
I got so much that's not public yet. And then I wanted to drop like 2 albums, but I'm like, on one of the albums, I paid for half the beats and the other half were like YouTube beats. And I'm like, my manager said I can't really stream those. So I'm like, maybe I should have a streaming version of that album that, hey, you got to pay for, and then slap the rest of them on my YouTube and be like, hey, these are for my subscribers. If you subscribe, you get some freebies. You get the behind the scenes, me making it. I'm gonna start doing that too. Videos of me making the songs. You know, I need an assistant that'll record.
I was trying to.
But yeah, man, mental health matters, dude.
Yeah, mental
I
health.
was listening to the beginning of the show. I just couldn't talk.
Oh yeah.
I was in the car with my uncle. He was playing.
Yeah, I was talking about mild intellectual disability, which is a mild form of retardation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or it used to be classified as that or whatever, So.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I mean, I
don't, I think it's because people sometimes retardation gets classified as, wrong way or whatever, and people don't like that, so people take that the wrong way. So I think they had to come up with another name for it or whatever.
Yeah, man, I blame the kids in elementary school in the 90s, bro. I grew up in everybody was a retard or gay. That's how they would clown people and diss on them. And I'm like, I don't know why that was a thing, but it's just like those were the two most popular disses on somebody. And somebody said one day, they're like, well, don't you guys know you're probably offending people that actually have a retardation or that actually are gay? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
because I know my woman hates that word.
yeah. And I'm guilty of it too, because it's out of habit, out of, the night growing up in the 90s. It's kind of like saying your mom, you know what I mean? It was the biggest comeback out of any diss, your mom, there's people that said that to me. I've said it to people, and some people, I've seen this dude want to fight somebody in junior high. He's like, my mom's dead, and he got up and got in dude's face. I mean, my mom's dead now too. If somebody said your mom, I would probably think it's kind of funny. It's just,
Yeah,
like,
but you gotta try to consider the person,
yeah,
because
everybody
different people.
everybody takes things differently. I got thick skin. I'm immature, so everything's a joke to me. Like, if somebody really said something about my mom, like, and they knew her or something, that's different. But like somebody that don't know my mom and don't know that she's dead or something, then I don't really get offended, because it's like, hey man, they're probably just joking. But it's like, um, it depends on how they say it. My mom was schizophrenic, and she used to talk to like walls and stuff. So when I first got Facebook back in like '08 or whatever, I posted a meme that said, it was Einstein. It said, talking to yourself is a sign of genius. And so this dude commented, that was a family friend. He was more closer to my cousins, and me and him kind of always used to get into it. He said, well, your family must be super smart. And I got offended by that, because I'm like, oh, you trying to talk about my mom, bro? Like, that one, I that was kind of a low blow, because he did know my mom, and he knew my brother, and my brother had those issues. So I was like, man, that wasn't funny. You know what I mean? But now if somebody just, yeah, your mom, it's kind of like the 90s, like, your mom's so fat, she jumped in the air and got stuck or something. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on how somebody says it.
Yeah, I feel you. But like I said, everybody reacts different, different situations or whatever. It's depending on the person's mind state, mental health, or whatever. Their situation, or whatever.
Yeah, mine is bipolar, so I'm doing this. This is my medication here. Is
Yep. I'm
yeah.
bipolar too. You want to pass that? Um, no, I really am bipolar. Manic bipolar or bipolar manic. I don't remember the order of it, but they diagnosed me with that, ADHD or severe ADHD, um, and anxiety and depression. And I think I got OCD, but it's not diagnosed,
We got some
what,
other
what
people.
what makes you think you have OCD?
because it bothers me when things aren't a certain way, or unfinished things bother me. My songs are not organized. Like, I'm like, this one don't belong to a project. It needs to be in a project. It can't be just a single. Like, I try to put everything together. It bothers me. So I had my manager make me some art, and it bothered me. I was losing sleep, and then I woke up the next morning, texted him. I'm like, hey bro, can we take that off the streaming site and put different art? Like, for some reason, I feel like that song has a blue vibe, not red. Like, the cover art is red, and it has, like, a red car, and it's like to me that's pestilence. It's more dark, red. It was like, it's apocalypse, bro. And I'm talking about my family, and it's light. It should be more blue, like water. It's like life, the sky. Like, blue is the vibe I got. Like, and I don't know what colors have to do with a damn song, but it just
Right.
kind of, it still bothers me. And um certain things is not in the right spot. Like, most of the time I post my music anyways, because I'm like, I don't know, man, like, I'm tired of messing with it. But it's like, uh that's the anxiety. But it's like the OCD bothers me. I'm like, that track from 6 years ago still don't have a hook, or I ended up saying something wrong right there. And or you could, like, some people, they tell me on the song Road to Greatness, they're like, oh, that verse was dope, bro, it was super sick. I was,
If
I
you
was
got a
drinking I was drinking, and I slurred my words on two spots, and nobody else could tell, but I could. And I'm like, I should have respit that. And everybody's like, no, it sounds fine, bro. Leave it. You're never gonna spit it the same. I'm like, you're right, but I know that mess up.
We got Frank Matthews in the building.
What up, Frank Matthews?
Like for instance, too, all these water bottles that I half drank, I haven't thrown them out. I'm gonna drink that because I have to finish what I started. It's part of my OCD. Water don't go bad. Now if it's soda, I mean, I hate wasting stuff. There's times like I won't drink warm soda, but like in one sitting, even if I'm like already full, I'll finish the soda. Like that's how I got fat.
Yeah, soda can make you fat. That's the thing.
Soda and food. Like there's people that they'll stop eating when they're full. I'm like, my plate ain't empty yet. You know what I mean? Like I grew up poor, so I that's part of it too. But
yeah,
I don't know. I've always been one that, you know, when it comes to, you know, eating or whatever, I can eat and still not like I don't gain a lot of weight or whatever, you know. I still weigh about a $60, $70, somewhere around there.
yeah. Another thing too was when I park, I usually like to park in the same spot all the time. Like if I go like a certain spot, like I mean like going to like a restaurant or something like that, you can never find the same spot. But like at work, I used to park in the same spot every time. And I'd have to be centered in between the two in the spaces. Like if somebody's parked on the other side of the line or whatever, too close, like that shit bothers me. Like colors, like certain colors.
Parking? Are you talking about like double parking?
Yeah, well, like if they're just too close, even if they're not on the line, I'm like, dude, you should be in the middle, bro. Like,
yeah.
That bothers I'm pretty sure that bothers a lot.
it does. It bothers a lot of people. But like, so it was weird when I first got with my ex. We were at a hotel room. There's plenty of open spaces. I could park anywhere. I could have double parked or anything because there's no cars next to me at all. But I pull in the thing. I get out the car. I'm like, oh, that's not straight. Hold up. And I get back in and I fix it. And I did it like 3 times. She's like, it's good. You could leave it alone. I'm like, no, I can't. It's got to be good. And like, what does it matter? I'm moving the car tomorrow. It's not like it's going to stay there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it doesn't have to be perfect either, you know.
Yeah. But I let a lot of
that sounds more like a perfectionist or something.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
And sometimes the perfectionist can be a narcissist, you know, somebody who's a narcissist who.
I've been called that, but that was my ex-wife.
You got to remember that everybody's good at something, you know, and everybody has their own mental.
Well, that's why I like doing this rap stuff because everything fits together in a certain way. It's like a puzzle. Like if I get stuck on a bar, I'll keep writing and I'll go back and fix that bar. And
yeah, man, everybody's different, you know. Because like for me, when I'm writing or whatever, I'll write and I'll get stuck at something.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there for a while and I'm like, okay, I got to put this down, whatever, you know, because I can't think of something. And then later on, I'll think of something and go back to that and finish it, you know?
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm OCD. I'm straight up OCD. I'm the type that I just gotta finish it and it's gotta be perfect.
Well, I'm saying if I can finish it, I'll finish it. But if I get stuck at something and I can't do, I'm not gonna sit there because I'll just drive myself crazy. Sitting there thinking about, well, what can I do? What can I put here? What can I put here? You know, that's not always healthy either.
Yeah, you know what bothers me is like typos. So, like I was telling you in the chat the other day, I wrote that ADHD rap in 6 minutes, but that was including fixing the typos because those typos will bother me. Like especially when I'm trying to read it in rap, it's like every time I don't know why my phone does it. It autocorrects into something that don't make any sense. Like when I say like go in the door, it'll say KN for in, and I'm like, I know it means in, like that's how I wrote it, and I know how to rap it without even looking at it and making it make me stumble. But the fact that it's wrong still, even though I could have a verse memorized, but it will mess me up because my eyes caught something and it bothered me. Like
Yeah,
yesterday,
I don't like autocorrect because like sometimes I'll be writing on my phone and I'll purposely misspell something and then it will go and correct it the right way. I'm like, no, I don't want to write it that way.
yeah, but mine does it. It makes up words that don't make sense, and I'm like, what is KN? There's no word that says KN. It's in. You know. But what also like so it bothered me yesterday on the podcast on my interview. My name was spelt wrong. It didn't have the second A, and
Oh yeah,
it,
you was on the Nutty Birds yesterday, right?
yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
typo, But it's like it's not a big deal because it still spells out apocalypse if you sounded it out. But the thing is, it's like,
Oh,
well, it's more like
oh, yeah.
apocalypse.
I get like that. I tell people I have to tell people like 'cause sometimes they'll put in my name and they'll spell it normal, and
Yeah,
I tell them it's not spelled that way, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Because like if someone wants to go, because if they misspell it, someone wants to go and try to find my name or whatever, you know, they won't find it because it's not spelled that way, you know.
oh, also notifications too. Like I am always checking my notifications because that number above it messes with me. So I've noticed people's phones. I'm like, you didn't get my message or whatever. Like, no, I haven't checked my messages yet. I'm looking at their phone. They got like 200 unread texts, and they just click on the ones from the people that they like and message all the time. I'm like, man, if you're gonna leave people on red that much, like you should just delete them out of your phone. Like it bothers me. Like I can't have 200 like email bugs the hell out of me because I can't keep up with it. But like text messages, it's always at zero. uh Messenger always at zero. Like as soon as I get like freaking 6 of them, I check it. If my Facebook says 57 notifications, I check it. Even if I know, oh, this is from me posting in the groups and it says your post has been approved or whatever, I still have to click on it and get rid of that number. I still have to get rid of it because it just bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you got the other take me away background there.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that in the settings just now.
Yeah. I got a few different ones.
And I unhide Apocalypse 777 right there because it was covering up his name. So I changed the background now.
Oh, thank you. I was earlier. I was like, it's covering my face.
It's covering his face and it's covering his name. Where can they find everybody finds your stuff?
My stuff.
Yeah.
They just type Apocalypse 777 rap on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
So at
Or-
Apocalypse.
Yeah, 777 rap.
At Apocalypse 777 rap.
Yep. And that should pull me up. And then yep, exactly like that. And then the other thing is Joe's Flows on Facebook. So they'll pop up two different ones. There's Joe's Flows 1 and Joe's Flows 2. And that's for Apocalypse and Pestilence. Pestilence is my dark conscience.
Oh, you're gonna have me type in here, aren't you?
No, I don't gotta do all that. If they're watching the show, they'll get it. Like
Can they find you? They can find you at this link. Then that's
if
good.
they find me with that, then they'll find the rest of it. That like I post everything on my Facebook mainly. If you want to type up Joe's Flows, that's where my YouTube don't have everything. I'm a Facebook person. Everything goes on my Facebook. I neglect TikTok, Instagram, and all that. I check it every now and then so I don't have notifications and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
there is some on my TikTok that's not on my Facebook. But I don't know. I used to go live on my TikTok and everything. But it to me, I hate getting on it. It's a bunch of ads. It's a bunch of people trying to sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it used to be when it first came out. And then I mainly stay on Facebook all day.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. You can find me at the MidwestKid.com. No, just kidding.
You can find them in the Midwest.
You can find
Yo,
me at the Midwest Kid. As this artist called Rich would say, you can Google my name.
Uh,
Just Google my name.
oh, and then earlier saying something about people and their mental health, and some of them might need medicine and stuff like that. I I agree. Sometimes it could help. I feel like it messed me up worse. I don't really like big pharma. I don't really like.
That's what I was saying. Like
Yeah, I don't really like
sometimes
pills. What Ninja's doing, that's kind of more. That's better because it's more natural, and you don't get these side effects, dude. So for one, if you are taking meds for your mental health, do not drink. Take my advice. Don't drink.
yeah.
Um, had me doing some crazy stuff.
well that's what I was saying. Like I'm saying like if you can get away without taking medication,
Oh, that's what you're saying.
it,
Okay.
it, whatever. But if you have to take your medication, then you should. But then I was saying try not to abuse it either because
Yeah.
that's not all necessary either healthy either.
No. Abusing medication is probably the worst thing to do.
Right. So they told me because I had the ADHD, they gave me Adderall, and then they said, if you don't feel like you could concentrate, we're gonna put you on a higher dose and a higher dose till they said, we want to take you to the therapeutic dose, the highest you could go. So I took one, and I'm a car salesman at the time. I'm trying to sell a car, and I'm feeling my face is all numb and everything, and I started like kind of drooling. I had to wipe my mouth while I'm talking to the customer, and so yeah, man. Basically,
The-
I went wild on
the-
this when I first started Reckless. I was getting excited because I was collabing with people. It was all coming together and everything. I thought, and so I got really excited, and people thought I was on drugs. I'm like, you ain't never seen nobody excited before. Well, I was acting a little bit differently, and I think that part of that was the Adderall. Even though I stopped taking them, I quit cold turkey. You're supposed to wean yourself off, like lower the dose, and take 10 days to get off. I just quit overnight, and
it,
I went hypomanic around that time, but also drinking alcohol, it did not help because I passed
yeah,
out, woke up in the middle of the night. I'm trying to get on this rap stuff, and like
yeah. Some of the medications is not a lot of medications. No matter what you're taking, or whatever, whether you're taking for mental health or you're taking for diabetes or
yeah,
whatever it may be, mixing some medications with alcohol can mess you up even worse.
yeah,
And then
and
and then
so
I know some people. So there's some people that take like different kinds of medications and like sometimes changing doses and trying to figure out what works can overstimulate someone.
yeah. No, and so I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm trying to get on the raps or whatever, and for some reason my my chick didn't understand. What I mean, what the hell I was going through. So I got all mad. I'm in the kitchen. I remember I'm on the kitchen floor, and I socked the cupboards. I'm like, nobody understands me, and I'm like, I'm tired of being me. You know what I mean? I'm yelling to myself, and that's part of like, because normally if I drink that amount, I'm fine, but it's mixed with the pills was making me go crazy. And there was a point where I'm sitting at the kitchen table right before me and her broke up, and I just felt myself getting pissed off for no reason. I just felt it like, dude, I want to go off on somebody. The only person there was her and her daughter. And so she said something weird after a while, and I got up and I got in her face, and like a week before that, I was drinking. I only had a couple shots of Hennessy. I blacked out. I woke up, my hands were on her throat. And I'm like, well, that's not me. What the hell's going on here? And I'm like, I normally I could drink like 6 to 8, maybe 10 shots normally, and be drinking beers, and I'm fine all night. But I blacked out off of just a couple shots because I was mixing it with my antipsychotic meds. I wasn't on Adderall at the time. I was on like Zyprexa and Lamsapine or whatever, 40 milligram. Like it really messed me up, man. I was not the same. She said I was like a zombie. I became part of the couch, is what she would call it. I would look forward to taking my pill because it kind of gave me like a high right before I'd fall asleep. I'd be going to sleep at 8 p.m. and then it messed up my sleeping schedule. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, and so I quit taking them. And for the longest time, up until about a month or two ago, I was still waking up at 3 a.m. every morning after a year of not taking them. And so yeah, it messed up my sleep pattern, messed up my mental health, messed up my sex life, messed up everything, bro. And so screwed up relationships, and then so I blamed that on the alcohol and the pills. But the pills were recommended by a doctor. I wasn't like one of those taking street pills. I never liked pills, but it was prescribed. But they're not all good for you, man. Now I would only take pills if it was like a life or death situation, like you're talking about, like diabetes or something like that.
And please, people, do not drink and drive.
Don't do that either. I got 2 DUIs. That was the stupidest decision I ever made. I lost my kids and everything. I could have lost them for real. They could have died. I had them in the car with me on the first one. Stupid, very stupid. So I understand where my kids
if you are in a situation, feel down and depressed, and you drink or whatever, do not drive, because that is it costs more when you drink and drive. You could kill yourself or kill someone else, or and then you have to pay, a fine, and you have to have all this stuff. It's just not worth it, people.
Yeah. So speaking of that, in about 40 minutes, I got to jump off this because I got to do my DUI class.
Yeah.
But it should only be 15 minutes today. Normally it's 2 hours every other Monday. But yeah, and the thing is, I know better. I knew better too, man. My cousin died back in 2016 on a motorcycle because he was drinking, and he kind of hit the corner and went fast, and then a car was coming out, didn't see him, and he got launched over the car 100 feet and landed. He didn't really have a helmet on, so it was done. So yeah, man, don't drink and drive. It's the stupidest thing you could do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's coming from somebody who loved drinking. If you love drinking, drink at home. If you need to get more, they got DoorDash nowadays. If you got to go somewhere, there's Uber. If it's an emergency, there's 911. Don't drive.
And drink responsibly. And what I mean by that is, don't get too shit-faced, and you could die from, puking and swallowing your own puke or whatever. I know someone that died because of it. They died on their own puke or whatever.
Like
I was
Jimmy
throwing
Amos.
up. I was throwing up stomach bile one time. I had some Christian brothers, and I was hungry, and I kept telling my friend, like, let's get something to eat or whatever. We're at his friend's house, and he's trying to roll a blunt, and I'm like, dude, let's go. I'm starving, man. And they're like, hey, bro, if you drink water, it should help. You know what I mean? That's what helps me when I'm hungry. I just drink some water, and then the hunger pains go away or whatever. So they didn't have any water. I'm sitting there drinking out the hose, and it was like kind of warm water. I'm guzzling that. I'm starving, and I get in the van. I'm waiting on him. We go like 30 minutes later. I get to the house, and I just start puking, and I had nothing in my stomach. It was all stomach bile. And then somebody was like, dude, you should drink some milk. It'll help coat your stomach. Don't drink milk when you're throwing up. Don't.
No, that's the worst thing. Yeah.
It was bad, bro. The worst I ever felt.
Yeah, you don't drink on an empty stomach.
Never.
That's important. You should always have something in your stomach.
Yep. And drink water. That's what this one dude, I'm like, dude, you never get drunk when you're drinking, bro. Like, I get shit faced, and like I blacked out. He said I was trying to fight him, and it was my homie. I'm like, I don't remember none of that. He goes, well, because you need to drink water when you drink alcohol. Like every couple beers, get a damn water.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I have a friend who passed away from he wasn't even eating, but he would polish off a 30 pack every night. And eventually I seen him in a hospital. It was sad, like we watched him pass away because he his liver shut down.
Yeah,
what
that's not even good either. Drinking too much.
He was drinking way too much. He had
And then,
liver poisoning from alcohol poisoning.
yeah, my ex-wife's grandpa was my best friend and my drinking buddy and all that. He died on my birthday. He his liver shut down and everything. Like it was 4th of July, and he basically puked and shit himself, and like he collapsed on the ground, and ambulance picks him up, brings him to the hospital, and we thought he's gonna be fine. A couple days later, we get a call, he's not fine, and we go to the hospital 3 days later on my birthday, July 7th, and that we had to like pull the plug on him. But yeah,
That's hard to do. Like that
yeah.
can really mess with your psyche right there, you know.
Oh yeah, man. Because I kept telling the doctors, I'm like, there's got to be something you could do. You know what I mean? I was crying because I'm like, we had plans to take my kids to wrestling events and stuff, and I'm like, dude, this is not cool. Like that was my best friend. You know what I mean? Around that time, and when I was 18, so I haven't cried since I was 18. Before that, like even when my grandma died and everything like that, because part of it was I wasn't too close to her and all that, but everybody else around me was crying. I just felt weird because I'm like the only one not crying. But when I was 18, my cousin got murdered, and I cried so much that I fell down to the ground, and my other cousin's holding me up and squeezing me so hard, I could barely breathe because he's a big dude. But I'm just like a lifeless body, and he's just holding me up. If he would have let go, like he's holding me right around my neck, because he's taller than me, and so he wasn't trying to like make it work. I couldn't breathe because I was like hyperventilating from crying so much. But if he would have just let go, I would have just collapsed. And I cried so much then that I haven't really cried since, except for when Dave died on my birthday. But since then, I haven't really cried either. Like I have a problem. I try to talk to my counselor about it. Like I don't know why I can't cry. I want to.
Yeah, and people remember, this is very important. It is okay to cry.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say, well, you're a man, you shouldn't cry or whatever. I say bunk all that.
Yep.
Sometimes it's necessary to cry. You just gotta let it out.
And I wonder why. I wonder if that's partly what's wrong with me is that people instilled that in my head, like, oh, you're a man, don't be a bitch or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's foul, dude. Don't treat people like that. Like growing up, they would say, you're soft if you tell somebody, you're sad or you having feelings or whatever, or like, hey, I love you guys, or what are you, gay? It's like, no, bro. Like, man, it's all right to tell your homies you love them, man. It's all right to say you love your brother. Like me and my brothers, we don't say that. My dad, I moved away for like 6 years and I haven't seen him for like, it was like 4 years went by or whatever. He comes to see me, and he comes to my house and he goes like this and reaches out. I go to shake his hand and he's going to hug me, and I'm like, what? We do that? Like, I didn't know we did. I didn't know we hugged. I mean, there was no love shown like that growing up. So yeah, man, like I always tell my kids I love them like every day, you know what I mean? And
that's good.
Like,
Yeah,
I hug them. Like you could be 15 years old still sitting next to me, I mean, I won't have you sitting on my lap, but I'll have you sitting next to me. We could be cuddling and watching the movie or whatever. I don't care. Like, you're my kid, I'm always going to tell them I love them. You know what I mean? Like that don't get old to me. I can't say it enough. So I don't know what's wrong with my side of the family is kind of screwed up,
And like, everybody's different too. So, it is what it is,
I got a daughter. I got to see her in a video chat yesterday. She called me for Father's Day.
That's cool. Oh yeah, happy Father's Day, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. I don't have a father, he passed away. I heard he passed away in 2008.
Oh wow.
Did you know him?
Right.
Did you know him?
No. I was kind of I growing up I was kind of like F you because of situations where when I was younger, he had every opportunity, like he knew my number or whatever, and he could call, but he never did. So I was just kind of like, I
Yeah.
was one of the people who was like, well, fuck you, you know, if you don't want to be in my life, then just fuck you, you can get gone, you know.
Yeah. And I don't understand that because I want to be in my son's life. He don't like me, he don't want to talk to me. I sent him something for his birthday and everything, sent some notes with it. His mom had to read him the notes so that way, because she's like, otherwise, he would not even know what you're saying because he's not going to read the notes. You know what I mean? Like she read them to him so to make sure he would hear it. Um, and it's weird because he wasn't talking to me for like a year and a half, and then we started talking for like 2 to 3 months, and we're talking about video games and everything, and like he does music now, and it would have been cool to like be able to put him in some more collabs. Ninja heard one. um
I actually did. I actually did a song when my niece was 8 years old. I did a song with her.
yeah, but he
Hmm.
don't talk to me anymore or nothing, and he wants to change his name when he turns 18 because he's named after me and all that, and I'm like, damn, that sucks, bro. Like, why you gotta feel that way? Like I know I messed up, but like I am one of those dads that's trying to be there. I try to reach out and, hey, tell JoJo I said this or whatever. He got on the phone and started texting on my daughter's phone saying, "Don't tell him to tell me nothing. I don't want to hear from you, you piece of shit," and like fuck off. And I'm like, part of it is resentment and anger, and I shouldn't have never gave him that. But I'm like, dude, I'm trying to reach out and be the dad and say I love you. Tell JoJo I said this, like.
Yeah.
How old is he though?
He's 17. He's the
He's
oldest. So
17.
yeah,
And
he has
That's hard to do. Yeah, that's hard to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
All you
How
can do is
long?
best game.
Here's my question: how long were you not in his life?
about just the year and a half he didn't want to talk to me. Like I've always been in their lives. It's he kind of blames me for the divorce. Uh, because you get to hear mom talking all the time and hear her side of the story, and I don't really speak on it because I don't want to throw her under the bus either. But it's like that term narcissistic or whatever, it gets thrown around a lot nowadays. It's
Yeah.
just like everybody says that somebody's narcissistic if they don't want to be with them anymore. Like to me, that's a red flag. I'm on these dating sites and they're like, well, my ex was a narcissistic. I'm like, all right, nope, skip, because you're gonna say the same thing about me if we don't work out. I already know it. And it's because there's no accountability nowadays. There are narcissistic people, but I talked to my counselor and I said, hey man, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm narcissistic. I feel like that I be trying in a relationship, I make mistakes because I do have mental disabilities. I don't think before I act. Like that's the anxiety. Like I'll do something.
I think a lot of people don't think before they act on different situations.
Yeah,
That's
there's
just
stuff I could prevent. Like I shouldn't have drank and drove. I didn't really think, especially when you're drinking, you don't think I shouldn't drive right now. You're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea to go get more beer. You know what I mean?
yeah. Everybody's different, you know. I
But my
remember first time. I remember first time. See, everybody's mindset is different, you know, because you know I can remember a time like when I first got drunk. The first time I ever got drunk, before I knew I was gonna get drunk before I even could go somewhere. I gave my keys away.
yeah. So that's a smart move. You know what I mean? My ex-wife, the kid's mom, always complained about me drinking and didn't like me drinking and driving. And I drank with my boss because I was going to quit my job, and he was trying to talk me out of it. So he's like, "Here, have a beer, man. Let's talk." So before you know it, he's like, "Here, have another one. Have another." And he's trying to talk me into staying. Um, but I was already kind of going through a divorce, so I'm like, I need to save my relationship. So I'm going to quit my job. I was working too many hours. Well, I go home, drank and drove. That killed the relationship, and I ended up staying at that job another year. Um, that job was really detrimental to my mental health. Like being in car sales with a former Marine as your GM, it really sucked. So yeah, man. Basically, I should have listened to her. She was right, But not everybody's as mature as other people when it comes to thinking. Some people, it's not like, oh, all I think about myself or whatever. I just don't think. I make mistakes. I
Uh,
told her,
uh,
I don't mean to hurt anybody. I don't mean like for anybody to get offended if I say something stupid and like people get mad. They're like, what the fuck? Why'd you say that? Like my intentions weren't to piss you off or make you mad. It's just
Yeah, like I said, that depends on everybody. Everybody's mind state is different.
yeah. Like my uncle, he goes off on his roommates and he goes off on my aunt sometimes and all that. I'm like, I feel like he kind of likes to be an asshole. He does it on purpose. Like I see him at restaurants, he'll treat the waiter like shit. Like, hey, over here, I need more this or whatever, and like he'll just hand him the plate, and I'm like, how can you say please or thank you? Like I'm a nice guy, you know what I mean? I'm like that shit bothers me, and so that's why I know like, dude, where my heart's at. Like I never meant to piss my son off. I never meant to make his mom mad or whatever. Like you're not going to work out in a relationship with people, especially after years, and they want out anyways. They'll
Yeah,
find a reason, even if you don't give them one. But she was saying she was waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then I gave her the reason. I dropped the other shoe. She knew it was a
yeah,
matter of time because she knew I was fuck up. And that's the thing is that's why I didn't come up with reckless because of that. I came up with reckless because me and my cousin were freestyling when we were little, and we just kept saying reckless in the freestyle. So I was like, "Did you say reckless?" He's like, "Yeah, reckless." And we just both kept repeating it back and forth, and we thought it was funny. So when I came up with a company name, it was Reckless. I didn't really realize years later after creating the company that I'm gonna actually end up like flipping a car because of DUI, losing my wife, losing my girlfriend, my kid not wanting to talk to me because I'm reckless. You know, I didn't realize how reckless I was or was gonna be, and I'm not proud of it. And that's what I put in my song called Reckless. I rap out all that. I
yeah.
try to think better and make better decisions, but it's stupid. I messed up my whole life, man. I'm not proud of myself at all. Um, I'm not
No,
leading by example. I'm not a good example for my kids. So if anybody listening or whatever like that, like, don't be like, "Ooh, I want to be like that guy." No, you don't.
yeah, and like I said, like I keep saying, it all depends on people's different mind states.
Yeah,
In their life. You like your situation with your kids or whatever, your kid, whatever, it's been, this and that or whatever. Only a year, whatever, year and a half, whatever, to
yeah,
compare to someone in my situation where, I didn't grow up with them, and if he would try to come back in my life, I can see then be like fuck you, this and that, I don't want you back here, because you know you weren't there when I was growing up, so why are you coming back around now?
right. And I didn't talk to my dad for like 3 years. When I turned like 18, like or 17ish, he kicked me out of the house. Said, "Oh, time to spread your wings and fly or whatever." And I'm like, "Y'all kicked me out of the house. I just now graduated out of high school, and I didn't have any plans, any future, nothing. Like they didn't help me set nothing up. You know what I mean? It's not really their job to tell me what I'm gonna do when I turn 18, kind of thing. It's supposed to be my decision, but I didn't really have any guidance. So it's like they kicked me out of the house. I went and stayed with my mom and ended up on drugs. Um, because my mom was reckless and didn't really care. But one thing I did know, I was kind of irritated with him because he was still collecting benefits and I wasn't even in the house. And I'm like, bro, I ain't got no food over here at mom. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I'm struggling for some cash, and I wanted to get high. So I'm like, hey, you gave me a car. I got my neighbor wants to buy the car. Uh, can you send me the pink slip? He'll make a payment and then I'll give him the actual car after the payment's done. They said, "Oh no, we sold the car." I'm like, "But you gave it to me. Like, how are you gonna sell it? Because I'm not there." And so I got mad. I'm like, "All right, see how it is." I didn't talk to my dad for like 3 years, and then now me and him are pretty damn close. So I'm hoping the same happens with my son, where he could just eventually forgive me and all that. That's why I got two songs called "Forgiveness 1 and 2." First verse is about him, and it says, "I hope I could earn your forgiveness." The rest of the verses are to my other kids, and I say, "I'm thankful I earned your forgiveness." But I didn't send those ones to you. I sent them yesterday on Nutty Birds, but he only played two of my other songs. So I do a lot of talking like I did on this podcast because ADHD and shit.
Yeah, that's a real thing with people. ADHD is part
It's
of a
not.
mental health
It's not.
situation.
Yeah, it's not fun to have, man. Like I got called out by my ex-wife. She used to always get mad at me, cutting her off when she talks and shit. Like Nutty Birds kind of said that yesterday. He's like, "Can I finish the damn question?" And I'm like, "Bro, I didn't mean to do that. You know what I mean? It's not on purpose. It's like the anxiety with the ADHD. Is fucking. I hate it, bro. Like I can't shut it. Plus, I had 3 fucking energy drinks today because I was super tired. I'm staying up doing music last night, and I didn't feel like going to work. So now I'm kind of wired from energy drinks, and those are bad for you too. It's not a good addiction either.
Yeah, I don't do energy drinks. You know, I've never done it. I've never done an energy drink. You know,
Yeah, they're not good for you, man. I prefer coffee. You know,
I don't like coffee either.
I like coffee.
I'm a caffeine fiend, bro. Like,
Dude.
especially after I got depressed, because there's times I laid in my bed all day. I didn't even get up to make something to eat. I only got up to use the bathroom and I'd lay back down. And it's like
I
I
like
used
to
to,
drink. I mean, I'll drink a soda once in a while, caffeine soda.
yeah,
I'll do or something, but
I used to love going to work. Now I hate it. Like, and I didn't mind the heat. I used to climb towers. I used to work in a warehouse. I used to be a mover. 100-degree days didn't matter to me. Now I'm like, dude, it's 80 degrees outside. It's too fucking hot. I don't want to be at work. Because like, my doctors were saying when I went off work for a year after I went manic, I'm like, I feel like a bum. Like, my girl's working and I'm not. And they're like, you're healing. You got to give yourself time.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what that meant until I felt the sudden difference. Doing this music shit helps because
and you know, everybody process situations different. You know, healing situations different. Because I can remember, and someone got on me about this or whatever. Like, because I had an ex who passed away or whatever. You know, and I took my time or whatever, and you know, what worked for me, whatever. And then I was ready to move on, and people were like, "Well, it's too early for you to move on." I'm like, "You ain't me. I know my situation, and I know when I'm ready to move on. You know, type, you know, situation. And I found the woman I'm with now. So you know, like I said, everybody grieves differently and heals.
yeah, and that's the thing too. With the you're ready when you're ready, and you feel it. Nobody else can feel it, and it kind of goes with like I was on the podcast yesterday on Nutty Birds, and he said, he goes, when do you think you got depression? And I was like, well, I think kind of people are born with it. It just gets worse over time, or like it's situational. Yeah, like because when you're dealing with circumstances, you're down. Like when the storm hits, but like. Yeah, fuck, if I got $1 million overnight, I'm pretty sure a lot of my problems are going to go away and you'll see a bigger smile on my face. You
More
know what
money,
I mean?
more problems, though, too. You know.
Yeah, that is true. I was working at the dealership. I was making good money, but I was not happy because how people treated me. And, being unhappy in your relationship and all this and that, it all affected me to the point where, like how Nutty Bird was saying, he goes, have you ever dealt with like your son on a deathbed, or have you ever dealt with like doing time for a crime you didn't do, or doing months at a time or something? I said, no, I mean, I've done like a couple nights for my DUI, but like compared to where my life was and it is now, yeah, I'm unhappy with my life, but I'm starting to climb out of my depression, but I could feel the difference. I know I was depressed. It's not a made up thing. Yeah, you could take pills and it could help, but I've tried that. They had me on Wellbutrin. That shit did not fucking work, bro. It didn't help me at all. Did not help me at all. And my stepmom takes it, and she feels the difference. She's been taking it for years, but she has all these support groups and all this and that. Like, I didn't start feeling better until I was on that podcast with Ninja on the Off the Grid, and people like my music, and then they kept saying, like, yeah, dude, keep doing this music shit, and because I only made like 3 songs and I sent them in, and you guys liked it, and that's why I fuck with Ninja, man, because he helped save me and make me become me again. And
Yeah,
I
like me, I feel like I put there for you because like when you're depressed or something, you go into some situations, I'll hit you up and try to talk you out of it, whatever, like
Yeah.
and talk to you about your mental health or whatever. You know?
You see me. That's why I pulled you in with a purpose, because like Reckless ain't about that, man. And you got you got that purpose, bro. This mental health movement. That's a lot. That means a lot to me. One of my favorite rappers is King ISO. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like King ISO.
Yeah. What does that say?
It says the working rappers.
Yeah. And always got to be working on your mental health, man. You always and this is what I want to say is I was working as a phone salesman. I was a manager, and this chick did a no show. And I'm sitting there blowing up her phone like, "Hey, you coming in? You coming in? Like, we need you, you know." And next day, because she could have just replied and be like, "Hey, I can't. I'm sick." She just totally ghosted me. So next day, I'm like, "Hey, bro, where were you? Like, I could trying to get a hold of you and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that shit." She goes, "Well, I needed a mental health day, Joe." And I'm like, "What the fuck even is that?" I'm like, "None of us get that. Like, what's this new millennial?" Like I was like, this is some pussy shit, bro. Like, I fucking never had one of those. I've had so many jobs, and my boss is an asshole and all that. And now I eat my words because, yeah, man, I need a mental health day almost every day. I don't want to get out of bed, and I realize how important it is, bro. And it's like, I should have bit my tongue and never said that, because it's kind of like somebody above is like looking at it like, "Oh, you ain't taking mental health seriously, are you? Well, who will make you take it seriously now?" So take it seriously before. So
What up, Lil J?
take a break.
Hey.
Take a break before you break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you don't take time for your mental health will make you take time for it. I had to take a year off work.
What?
Yeah, definitely
you
make you
doing,
lay
Lil
down,
J?
that's for sure.
How you doing, Lil J?
You're muted.
What? Can't hear you, Mike. You're muted. Can't hear you.
You might have to jump out, jump back in.
Y'all able to hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
All right, my bad. What I said was, I'm sorry I crashed out. I like literally just woke up. I needed a mental health break. I've been going through some drama, but I'm straight now. I'm up. I made it. Hey.
So tell us a little bit about your situation as far as mental health or whatever.
Okay, well, I have been clinically diagnosed at a young age with ADHD. I guess nowadays they got the obsessive, or like I have OCD. It's kind of it's not really
They're tied
like
together.
super. It's not like I'm like high functioning, if that makes sense. I have two autistic kiddos, so they're high functioning, but my ADHD really shows, so y'all just hold on tight, okay? All right, as long as we're all on the same page and we can all ride together, it's all good.
We don't judge on this show.
Say something, because I got
we got this shit. But okay, so I have ADHD, OCD, and okay, so now they make it where you can't be clinically bipolar till you're 18, but I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I think everybody's bipolar, honestly, but bipolar disorder at a young age. I think it's a cool and awesome diagnosis to have anyways, because everything's always interesting. What else? Oh, okay, yeah. So I wanted to, bring awareness that, that yes, I'm going to be 100% transparent. I just got out of rehab. I finished the program 100%. I did it in less than 30 days. If I remember correctly, I think I was in for like 14, maybe 15 days. I'm definitely a rare breed. I detox and I come out, and this is the first time I've ever done this now. I detoxed and I was like, I don't feel like I need to be here, because I'm ready to take on the world. I don't want to be wasting this precious bed for somebody. You know what I mean? And of course they go, no, you're not wasting it. I know, but I know me, and I know what I'm capable of. So if I'm going to be taking up that precious space for somebody who really could use it, and they're stuck over there in detox and can't get in these rooms, to do these groups, that I feel some type of way about it. You feel me? So
Yeah, we feel
with
you.
that being said, I'm super happy to have been invited by Nathan to come in and holler at y'all and bring awareness to people. And another thing about awareness is addiction and mental health go hand in hand. And addiction is not just on substances; it's thought processes, it's a lot of things, and it all goes together hand in hand with psychology. And
Yeah, that's what I was
um,
talking about mind state earlier. Someone's mind state, in different situations
mhm,
or whatever, you know.
So I wanted to
right.
point out too that you're right. It's not just substances, because you can be addicted to um, your phone. You could be addicted to these apps. You could be addicted
Mhm,
to TV, binge watching. You could be addicted to uh, I used to fiend for weed. You know what I mean? Go on a mile walk to go get it or something, like, and they say weed's not addictive, but if you have that addictive personality, you
it's
could
a
get addicted to
mindset, right?
you could get addicted to
Yeah,
hanging out
that's
with
what I'm
certain
saying. It's a
people.
mind
You
state.
Mhm,
like hey, when that person leaves, you start feeling that withdrawal feeling. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people do that.
it's that pull. It's
The
not
drug,
really like right, right. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut
sometimes
you
they're
off.
addicted. Sometimes they're addicted to the feeling, but sometimes they're addicted to that group or the people accepting them. You know what I mean? That pull. What do they call it? The dope ring. They are addicted to that because they feel comfortable around them and they're being accepted.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
you could be addicted to you know, drinks that are not alcohol. Energy drinks. You could be. I've known people to be addicted to soda. Dr. Pepper. They
Me
get pissed off if
too.
they can't
Yeah.
have some. They
Addicted to,
addicted to
and
porn.
I'm gonna put this out here. I'm not saying me, but certain people can be addicted to porn.
I just said that. Yeah, they
Yes.
could be addicted to porn, and that's the thing too. I've known people to be like that too. Um, and then there's times of your life where you're addicted to things and you can't help it, and people don't understand. They're like, oh, you put this before me or whatever. It's like, no, I didn't. It's not that you didn't know any better. You can't control it. Like the alcohol, like now I could be like, no, I don't want any alcohol. But like a couple years ago, somebody offers me a beer. Fuck yeah, I'm taking it. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
Well, well, that's the peer pressure and things too, which that's another contributing factor. And sometimes I don't like to quote my mom, but God rest her soul. This one is one that hits home: is you are the company you keep. So
yep.
if you're around like-minded individuals, right? And you're hanging out with, let's just say you're hanging with gangbangers, you're gonna get a gangbanger mentality. Been there, done that.
I,
Okay.
I, I,
You
I,
hang out with drug dealers, you're gonna possibly hop on there and start dealing drugs. I've been there, done that, allegedly.
They say you hang
And
around. You hang around five bums, you're going to be the sixth. You hang around five millionaires, you're going to be the sixth.
there you go. Well, I mean, it depends on the scenario now. Okay, I can't 100% be like, okay, I gotta go find me 5 billionaires, because if you find them, let me know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but if you have a positive outlook, right, and you have positive thinking, what can you have besides positivity, right? Positivity is actually contagious, just like a yawn. So you yawn. If I was to do it right now,
I,
all three of y'all would do it.
I beg to differ though on that one. A lot of people can yawn, and for some reason I don't catch it.
Well, you are darn lucky. Your brain works differently than others, but
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. And just like
But
my brain works
a
different,
yawn is
it's all about brain
contagious.
chemistry too.
A yawn is contagious even through the phone. Even if you don't see us on video, you could be talking to somebody. If they yawn, you yawn eventually. And I'm addicted to making music now. Like
Well,
and
hey, that's a
people are
good
like, hey,
thing.
dude, don't overdo it or whatever. I'm like, but if I don't do music or I'm not talking about it, then my depression comes back. It comes in waves. So I gotta stay busy. I gotta do my music, and it feels like a job I'm not getting paid for, and it sucks because I wear myself out. The next day at work, I'm like, I'm tired. But hey, man, it's what makes me happy.
Okay,
So you
so
think like
if
your
you
music?
don't mind, Apocalypse, I have a suggestion.
What's that?
Okay, so my suggestion is I would maybe look up a time management app and try to like manage your time a little better, because that way you're not spreading yourself thin. You're still doing what you love, and
Yeah,
your
that's what.
your possibility of being able to be successful with what you're wanting to do with it, you're actually probably going to be taking more of a step in that direction because you'll be more productive. Your creativity is going to be heightened. All those things will come, as time progresses. Like, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, okay? Because I
My
used to put
manager
the
said
pro
the
in
same thing though.
procrastination.
The
You
time
know what I
management.
mean?
Yeah.
But time management is super important, and no matter what it is.
That's what I was kind of getting at, Apocalypse, with like doing so much at once that you spread
Yeah.
yourself up. You spread
Boy,
your
I know. It bleeds into
yeah.
my work, bro. Like I'll be on the tower, or on the ladder, or on the roof. I'm writing lyrics. You know what I mean? I'm driving. I'm recording my freestyles. I'm missing my exits. You know what I mean? It is a very bad addiction. I told my son that too when he wanted to learn how to rap. I said, bro, it could be very addicting though. I said, if you're ready for it, I'll teach you, but you got to know what comes with it, bro. It's not something like with people with our kind of mind, because he has the ADHD too. I said it's not something you could just shut off, you know. But hey, little Jay, do you do music?
I do. I write lyrics, and I know what I'm capable of, and I can sing, I can rap. I'm actually musically versatile.
So I wanted.
We should
I love
collab.
every
I don't. I
genre.
don't.
I'd
I
be
don't mean
down
to
to
cut you
collab
off.
with you, little Jay.
I gotta jump because I gotta go to my DUI class. But if you're still running the show, I'll jump back on. It should only be 15 minutes. We didn't play any music yet or not. I don't know how much time you got on the show, but what I was gonna say, Lil J, is if you want to reach out to me, Ninja knows my info. I actually want to make a song called Sobriety, and I was trying to put this dude on that he been clean off crack for 19 years, and the way I came up with it is because now I'm sober off alcohol, and you know what I mean. So I was gonna do my,
Congratulations.
thank you. I was, and you too. Uh,
Thank you.
I was gonna do my verse about alcohol, and I was gonna have him do his verse about his addiction. But I could use a female
Oh,
on
hey,
there.
I'll collab with you.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm inviting you because I think that's very important, especially with like the mental health movement going on, and it is tied together. The sobriety. So if you were to look at my page, you'll see a lot of mental health stuff I promote, but also suicide awareness, veteran awareness, and then sobriety as well is going to be my
All
new
right.
thing.
All
Because
right,
I
that sounds good. Hey, listen, the more the merrier, the more minds make great things.
and my mom OD'd off of heroin, so
I'm so sorry to hear that, honey.
it was
I'm clean off of heroin over 10 years, y'all.
good job. That's a killer. That's bad. But I do
Yes, sir,
gotta
the
jump.
fentanyl.
Midwest Kid, I'll jump back in after. It should only be like 15 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Here.
So I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All
All
right.
right, peace.
Hey, nice meeting you, little Jay. Hit up Ninja. He has my info.
All right,
Yeah,
I will.
Reach out on Facebook. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
My Facebook right now is I guess you could say compromised, but I'm just
Okay.
gonna make a new one.
All right. Hey, how about this? I'm gonna throw it in the chat. I'm gonna throw my phone number.
All right, that's what's up.
Hey, Ninja and Midwest Kid, you guys could program that on your phones too if you ever need to reach out.
All right, bet. I got you.
All right, love y'all. Late. I gotta do this DUI stupid shit.
Much
All
love, fam.
Hey, do what you gotta do. Get it done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get in where you fit in.
that's right.
most definitely.
Actually,
Because if you
True
don't get
Will
it
is the
done,
one that
man,
brought
they
you
be tripping.
Yeah. We heard that Trill Will brought you into the show this morning, or whatever.
Well, I've known Trill for a very long time. Believe it or not, we were like jits.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard from him in a minute. I mean, we were talking, with each other for a little bit. Him trying to be, positive and stuff like that with me for a minute, and then I done fell off the map because I isolated myself. I shut down, and I'm self-aware now. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to feel
Yeah.
things. I'm able to, to mentally be able to process things. And
yeah.
so he, I reached out to him and I told him, I was like, let me be real with you. And he's like, what's up? Let me know what's going on. Talk to me. So I told him, I said, all right, well, I'm in rehab right now. And he's like, oh, wow. Like, he wasn't mad at me. He wasn't upset with me. He said, I'm proud of you. You're doing the right thing. So
Yeah,
it was a welcome change and a welcome thought process, if that makes sense.
I kind of heard you, your situation about, the rehab and all that stuff, which is kind of what made me think about, inviting you onto the show or whatever today,
Right. I know. We need to build the channel, man.
What? You're frozen.
I said we need to build your channel, Midwest Kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to build, the Take Me Away podcast and stuff like that, build it up or whatever. But I know next week, and I ain't gonna be on back until the 7th, because I got a doctor appointment next weekend or next Monday, and then the following Monday I'll be on my way back home from I'm going out of town that weekend or whatever. So I won't be back. The show won't be
Okay,
back
well,
on.
that's no problem.
Yeah, the show won't be back on until like the 7th of July, whatever. So
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's one day before my service animal's birthday. His is the 8th. He'll be
oh,
a
you
year
got a
old.
service animal? What kind of animal you got?
I actually have okay, so I'm actually training him myself because you don't necessarily have to pay all that money and all that for a service animal. Luckily, I'm pretty good with that. I used to breed dogs and stuff like that and train
Oh,
them.
you got a
I
dog?
used to break horses
Oh,
and all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. But my dog, he is a Rottweiler. He's AKC registered. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's a Velcro dog. I miss him dearly right now. I had to, let me just say this much. Okay, so about like on the mental health note, while I was in rehab, I was married for 14 years, y'all. So I had to leave that. It's been hard.
Yeah.
And I've been an emotional roller coaster. That's why I said I needed a mental health break. I cried myself to sleep. I don't know why my eye won't stop watering right now. So sorry, y'all.
Uh,
But
and I'm gonna say this, like dogs and whatever, cats or whatever. I encourage people who have mental health or whatever, some whatever form,
those dogs, they
if they're
sense it.
if they're able to, you know, support the animal and treat it good with love and stuff like that, to get dogs or get a cat because it's therapeutic to that person or whatever,
You're right. Hmm. Yeah. Well, my dog has been with me since he was about 8 weeks old. So he has learned my mannerisms. So he'll like animals have a good sense of like that sixth sense they say. So like
Oh yeah, I know what you're
if
talking
you're
about.
feeling some type of way,
I got a dog
hmm
too. So
yeah. So if you're feeling some type of way, the animal is going to feel it more than you do because their senses are heightened like times 10 us. So
Yeah.
if we're feeling some type of way, that animal is going to come to to us and be like, okay, I'm going to lick you, I'm going to make you laugh, or I'm going to come snuggle with you. Like they'll know what you need, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's a blessing in itself too, because it's like God created these creatures for us, and a lot of people don't understand that. I don't know why people abuse them or whatever. And those people, I don't know what God's thinking, but oof, you need to do something with that. But
Mhm.
um uh having that having him, I feel weird when he's not with me because he's my Velcro dog. Like he can say he barks I love you, and then if he's upset, he'll go mama, like he will like cry my name. And I know he's been doing that a lot lately because I mean, let me just say this much. I lost everything because of my addiction, if that makes sense.
yeah. I feel you.
I allowed myself to become powerless under my addiction, I stayed comfortably numb to what was really going on at home with my husband. And I have no problem telling my story because if it helps somebody, I'm about it.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
that's
actually be
that. Like I said, that I keep telling people that's why I created this show to get other
right.
people's story out there, so that someone
Mhm.
who maybe in that same situation as the person who's telling that story knows that they're not the only one out there dealing with
Right.
that situation.
They are not alone. And if anything, um, like if for some reason somebody triples and stumbles upon this and needs somebody to talk to, I'm here. I don't know how it works or whatever, but I'm sure they can reach out to you, being the the administrator,
Yeah, the
to be
host of
able
the
to be like,
show,
how do
the
I get a hold
founder,
of
host.
Jay? uh,
Yeah.
I don't care if my phone goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's somebody calling me, I'm gonna answer it, because you never know what's on the other end of that phone. It could be somebody who really needs you or whatever. So I always I answer it, but if it's a bill collector or some scam people, I'll be really messing with them hard and it's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But
When people, bill collector, telemarketer, calls, I like to pick up the phone and go, pizza slut, how might take your slut?
I love it. I love it. But yeah, so I went through over, I would say, 12 years of being gaslighted, and like there was like 2 years that were just absolutely wonderful, and I mean, I will always have love for my soon to be ex-husband because I share 2 children with him, but I gotta love him from a distance because it's not healthy for me. It was to the point where he gaslighted me. He was a narcissist. I mean, like for instance, last night, I can give you a perfect example. He was talking about going and dropping my kids off at CPS and walking away like he had a choice. No, no, sir. That's not how this works. And if you think you're going to manipulate me in this situation, no. Boss Jen is back. I've got my crown on. I'm a queen and I'm going to walk my walk. And
That's
if it takes me walking away from you for me to be healthy and happy and a productive mother, you damn straight, I'm gone. I'm lacing them Nikes and I'm running and I'm grabbing my babies and I'm running as fast as I can. But unfortunately, right now, I can't do that with my babies because defects is involved. I did catch a charge, but I went to rehab voluntarily. Defects doesn't know what to do. They're like, whoa, you're like way too productive, like way too ambitious and all this stuff. They're like kind of scaring us. And I was like, no, I'm doing the right thing as a mother. And if you have other people who are doing that, they got problems because
right.
these babies are more important than any drug, any man. No offense, y'all, any girl for that instance, because I've swung that way and dabbled in that too. But I'm trisexual. I'll try anything once. you know. but let me get back to the brass tacks of things. I have since moved on. I'm being treated like the queen that I am, and I couldn't ask for anything better. And of course, I'm always gonna keep my reservations. I mean, my husband wouldn't even let me shower. Was always like saying that I was cheating when I wasn't, and I never
Oh,
stepped out ever. And I'm like saying me, I'm a one man woman. You feel me? So with him doing that to me, what that did was just continue to sit there and just get in my head, making me think all kinds of crazy shit. Going, okay, usually the guilty dog barks first, right?
right.
Yeah.
That complete
So if you're
narcissistic
sitting here
behavior.
howling, like, oh, you doing this, that, and the third, and whoop de whoop. Don't you think I'm gonna be sitting there going, well, what you doing? No, I respected him. I never questioned him, all this stuff, but I'm on the other end of it, getting ridiculed and all these things. And then I sat there in rehab. I was in detox, and I was like, yeah, we're a power couple, blah blah blah, because he filled my head full of all kinds of BS, and I believed it. And then I got clean, and clarity came. Ding ding ding. When that
Yeah.
clarity came, it was like, whoa, what are you doing, girl? This is not you. I called up my best friend of over, I want to say I've known her for about 16 years. I called her and she goes, "Holy shit, you have not sounded like this in over 12 years, Jen. Welcome back. Where you been?" You know what I mean? So hearing that was an aha moment for me too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what I mean? Aha moments are kind of cliche, but they are a thing and they're a beautiful thing if you listen to them. And that's half the battle. You got to start listening to your following your gut, and if you don't do that, you end up putting yourself in situations where, you know what I mean? Like you will affect your own mental health. But I had to get out of that. I really did. And I had to stop becoming powerless under him. I just wrote a song last night about it. And my
Yeah,
thing is I wrote the lyrics, but I used AI for the vocals and the music because I don't have a mic here. Like I said, I lost everything. So I'm rebuilding, but I'm
it's
willing to be patient.
it's a beautiful thing when you are able to write, from a true situation, or that may, and sometimes it may not necessarily be your situation, but
Hmm.
someone that is around you. Like I know my significant other, was it like probably a couple of years ago. I don't know exactly when, but anyways, it's on YouTube. But I wrote a song where she was going through some situations where she was basically, needing help or whatever, and no one was paying attention. And so I went
But
and
you
wrote a
heard it
song
loud and
called
clear.
yeah. So I went and wrote a song called "Crying for Help," which is
Oh,
and I wrote it. I wrote it in a situation where I took myself out of my shoes and put myself in her shoes.
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That
you
is really
you you
beautiful.
can you can actually find it. You can find it anywhere on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. All you gotta do is look up the Midwest Kid. I don't know if
Okay.
you can see my
I
name,
will.
but
I definitely after the show I'm gonna start because I'm awake now. But I hadn't slept. I didn't sleep last night. I like my boyfriend, taught me through everything last night, but you get lost in your own head and it can be a scary place in there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
um I haven't heard from him yet this evening, and I'm kind of worried because, like, I always say all good things come to an end. Sometimes they seem too good to be true. They really are. I'm hoping that's not the scenario here because I'm scared to death. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I'm gonna live for the moment instead of worrying about stuff like that because worrying about that creates a vibe that can be unhealthy or make
yeah,
him
yeah,
doubt
yeah.
himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
never
supposed to be
worry
building
about
him
too
up,
much.
and he's building
Never
me
worry
up.
about a lot of things too much.
Well, we overanalyze things. Most people with mental health issues, no matter what they are, we're all overthinkers. Hence the reason why we have mental health
Yeah, yeah,
issues.
yeah.
you know,
I,
so
I, I, uh, I think a lot of people, even if they, I think a lot of people, even if they don't realize it, have
Mhm,
some form of mental health issues or whatever, whether they realize it or not.
mhm, right.
Some are just
I mean, I
some
think
some
that just
people
comes
are
with
just
the
more
human.
intensified.
Right. I think it just comes with the human chemistry, brain chemistry. It depends on what level of mental health issues they have and also a level of denial. So that comes into another aspect of mental health and addiction, alcoholism, because you can't just narrow it down to one thing or, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But all of it goes with, like, your first step is to accept the things that you've done, and realize that, okay, this is what's going on with me, so you can start to kind of rebuild yourself from the ground up. And I did that in an immaculate amount of time, like record timing. The facility I was at was like, wow, you just like, I wish every patient was like you, because you just like, you broke yourself down while you were in detox. You came out, you went and talked to your therapist, and all of a sudden it was like you took yourself down to crumbs and you built yourself back up in record time. And your self-realization, your clarity, your being able to process things. It's not the saying that I'm processing things fast, because I'm really not, because I'm still, processing things, but I'm doing it without overloading myself or overwhelming myself to allow myself to slide deeper into a depression. I won't allow it.
And a lot of people, everybody process things differently in
Of
different
course.
forms or
Of course.
whatever. Like I was
Mhm.
saying earlier, I had to, like when I was in a relationship and my ex passed away or whatever, and then I got to
I'm
a
sorry to hear
point
that.
where I got to a point where, I needed to, I was ready to move on, but some people said, well, you're not ready to move on or whatever. And I'm like, well, no, I know when I'm ready to move on.
Hmm. Right. Well, some people use that as what they call a defense mechanism. Like, oh, it's not you, it's me. Or, and I'm sorry, but I do believe that most every um human is our fear, one of our biggest fears, which is of course a false sense of reality, but we allow ourselves to slip into that, is the fear of rejection. It's painful, so with that being said, it's kind of scary, rejection is, because I mean that in itself will cause some anxiety on somebody.
Yeah.
But you know, for somebody to go, oh no, it's not you, it's me, with no explanation, and then they just ghost you, you're like, what the fuck's wrong with me? And then that's when you start really getting lost in your head, and people don't realize that they're creating, thoughts and things that are unnecessary, when all they needed to do mainly, and in any relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, is communication. If you can't communicate, then you didn't even need to get in that in the first place. You feel
Well,
me?
yeah, no, like I
Oh,
said, some people process things differently. Like, when my ex passed away, I got to a point where I needed to get rid of everything that was reminding me of her to actually move on with that
Mm-hmm.
situation. Then I was like, okay, I know I'm ready to get in a new relationship because I got rid of everything that could precede me from moving on to a new relationship.
Right. What up, Apocalypse? You made it back. How'd it go?
it was quick. It's just a check in on every other Monday, and then every other Monday it's a 2 hour class. So today was the check
Oof.
in day. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Hey, it's cool though because my
Sure.
group's kind of cool, and the counselor lady, I told her, she goes, "What do you like to do for fun or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh, I make music or whatever." Like, "Oh, okay, well, what kind of music?" I said, "I rap and stuff." They're like, "Well, you should let us hear some." I was like, "It's not really appropriate." And then I said, "But you can check me out on YouTube later." Right? I said, "You can check me out on YouTube later," because one day she left us hanging for like an hour. I think it was a test to see if anybody's gonna, like, go to sleep, or you're not supposed to eat on video or whatever. See if people would break the rules or something. She just totally dipped out and left us there hanging. And I was like, I told her, I said, "Man, I was about to start freestyling that one time." She goes, "I mean, you could have." And I'm like, "I didn't know you guys would care to hear it." And she goes, "Well, what's your YouTube?" I give her my YouTube, and I said, "You can check it out later." And so she starts playing my shit on the damn Zoom meeting. And
Yeah.
and it was a diss track, and it starts off, first lines like, "Yo, you fat ass motherfucker," or something like that. I'm like, "Hey, you don't want to play that one, don't play that one." I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you some titles you can play." And this one dude heard some of the diss tracks, and he subbed me through my Zoom meeting on DUI. So I thought that was pretty cool. I made some friends on there. But yeah,
That's
this
cool.
was just a one-on-one for 15 minutes or so.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, sometimes those one-on-ones you can, I always tell people, if you have an opportunity and you got something heavy weighing on your mind that you don't want to go and broadcast to the world, even though a lot of people who are like-minded, in certain scenarios, whether it's addiction or whatever, we don't mind putting our shit on blast half the time. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's times that we don't, and that's when we start to shut down and all that stuff. But if we have the opportunity where you have a one-on-one with somebody who's willing to listen to you and maybe help you work through things, it's worth it to take advantage of that. It may have been a 5-minute check-in, but be like, listen, I need to talk to you. You mind if I bounce something off you, or whatever the case may be? Utilize that. That's probably why they offer it.
Yeah. Well, and also, it helps because if it was every other Monday, I probably forget, like, am I supposed to join a meeting this Monday or not? Like, so every Monday I have to join a meeting. I just, got to remember it's a 2-hour or 15-hour class. But like, it's one of those. I'm kind of glad that it's there because, for one, like you said, it helps. It keeps you on your toes. But also, it's basically he checked in. What made me feel good? He goes, so how are you doing? Are you being responsible when you're drinking? You're not driving and all that. I said, man, I haven't even been drinking. He's like, well, that's good. You know what I mean? So it's like I got to give him the update on, yeah, bro, I haven't even really picked up the bottle for I don't know how long now. It's like I found other shit to do.
Well, do you mind if I ask you something?
Go ahead.
You don't mind? Okay. So how long were you in active addiction, they call it, like drinking? How long were you drinking before you realized, or maybe you had something happen, or whatever the case may be? I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing that, but do you mind giving me a little background on you a little bit?
I'm an open book. I tell everybody everything. I put all kinds of shit on Facebook. I probably shouldn't.
Me too. I overshare sometimes.
Me too. I've scared people away. Like, man, there'd be chicks that try to talk to me and stuff, and I start giving them my whole damn life rundown, and then I just scare them away, and I don't hear from them the next day and shit. But
you gotta watch that when when you're trying to tell someone something like that in a relationship. Don't breathe too much information right away.
Yeah, no, I shoot myself in the foot all the time, bro. Like, there's this chick. So I was drinking this time when I was talking to this chick. I gave her the whole rundown on how me and my ex's relationship didn't work out, and all the goods and the bads. Like, oh, I liked when she used to, bring me my food first before her, and bring my coffee, and like she was so nice. She used to like buy me stuff with my rap name on it and this and that. Like, and she probably took it as, damn, this dude really misses his ex. He ain't over her or nothing like that. I was just like saying, because I was trying to relate to her. She said she just got cheated on. And I was trying to relate to her like, well, no, I've been cheated on too. I have people that this chick cheated on me with my brother. I can relate to that. But also, I don't know why people are pieces of shit. Me and my ex were good. We just had problems. She had problems with me talking to my ex, my kid's mom. But I'm like, how do I work around that when I got to talk to my kid's mom? You know what I mean? And that's not even answering the question you gave me. I don't even what the fuck am I talking about here? But that's
no, you're okay. Hey, listen, I'm rolling with you. If you need to talk it through. We down for the long haul.
I shoot myself in the foot or overshare like you. But back on the subject, on the see, I got ADHD, but I'm able to catch myself now. It takes me a minute, but the alcohol I've been drinking since I was 11, and I started smoking weed about 11, and I quit smoking weed when my son was born. I was like 21 years old. And around that time, I just got, turned 21. So I was going to bars. I'd like throw up and shit, like get too drunk. My kid's mom, she complained about it a lot. When I quit smoking weed, I drank more. And then I ended up working in 2013 doing the towers. Whole crew would drink. So after work, that's what we're doing at the hotel rooms. We're drinking. And some of them would drink at the job sites and shit. And, they would be like, hey, you want a beer? You know what I mean? It'd be the middle of the workday. And I'm like, sure, fuck it. And so I got used to drinking, like, to the point where I drink a beer, too, at lunch. And I was a driver. I was supposed to go and pick up loads and drop them off. I'm like, I'm going to eat some lunch. And I got in the habit because my foreman wouldn't take us to go to restaurants if they didn't serve beer. So he was basically influence on that a little bit because he won't be like, oh, it's lunchtime, let's go to McDonald's real quick. No, they don't serve beer at McDonald's, so we're going to Applebee's or something.
He was enabling your issue.
And so I started picking up drinking heavy around then. because I remember one time I was a little buzzed and coming back from San Francisco, and I live in Sacramento, so I'm like, oh, there goes the 80 right there, and let me get up on it. I get on motherfucking 80 west, not 80 east, so it takes me the opposite way, and so I end up on the Bay Bridge. It takes 45 minutes just to get to the first exit because of traffic, just for me to turn around and get back on the right 80. And I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, I remember shit like that. So I was drinking heavy a little bit around then. Move up north, 4 hours away in Wairika, and become a car salesman. And basically, the older people are talking about drinking all the time and stuff like that. So I started, like, fuck, I feel like drinking an IPA. It's been a while, so I drank IPA after work. Next day, I'm like, fuck, that was good. I want another one. You know what I mean? So next day, I buy some more, and got to the point on my way home from work, I just stop at the store. It was kind of a habit. Like sometimes I'll still stop at a store and I'll walk into it and I'll be like, "What the fuck am I doing? I don't even drink anymore." Like it was just that stop is on the way home, so it was habit. Like sometimes I didn't even crave beer. It was out of habit. I'm buying it. I'll buy it for later, but since it's there, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna drink it. It was meant for later for the UFC fight. Well, fucking 2 hours before the fight, I'm already drinking. Got to the point, me and my kid's mom fight about it a lot. She didn't mind if I was like drinking occasionally, like with like UFC fights and shit like that. But she goes, "You finding any excuse? We're barbecuing on a Saturday. You got to drink. We're going to the river. You got to drink." You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, it's what I do. But she said we took in the cans and bottles. There's more beer bottles than there is water bottles and soda cans combined. That's a problem. And I'm like, well, you're just trying to kill my happiness. You don't want me to be happy. So I always argued with her about that, trying to stick up for myself. But I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, yeah, she was right. You know what I mean? She's like, she lost her. You probably weren't part of the show then when I was telling them about about her grandpa that died on my birthday. Basically, his insides failed, and she goes, "I don't want you to be like Dave. You got kids to raise and shit like that. We don't need to be at your damn hospital bed with you going to the bathroom on yourself and throwing up and all that. Like your insides are rough. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna kill yourself way earlier than you need to go." And I thought it was under control, And I have a couple of beers with my boss because I was gonna quit my job and he's trying to talk me out of it. We're at the fair doing an event, and like, "Here, you want another beer? You want another beer?" I'm like, "Sure, fuck it." We're having a good conversation, so we're like chilling and trying to talk me out of quitting. And I'm chilling with him and the bank manager that used to approve our loans, and they're like talking about promoting me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I like this conversation. I'll stick around, So I'm sticking around, drinking more, and then fucking eventually I'm like, I gotta go, and I fucking had too many beers. I made it home safe, but his mom didn't like that. She divorces me over that. She broke up with me next day because she's been waiting on a reason anyways, and I gave it to her. I wasn't changing my ways. But my son don't really talk to me because he blames me for the divorce. And so fast forward, I get with this my ex, this other girl, and I end up getting a DUI because we're at her cousin's house for his birthday, and she's drinking. I only had a couple beers, but I did smoke a joint too, and I forgot about it. I was a little bit tired, but I was fine. When I smoke, I don't drink as much, so I'm chilling, just enjoying the weed high. And I did take a shot with her, so she brought me a shot. She goes, "Well, they're going to sleep, so I just want to go home." We were supposed to spend the night, and I'm like, "Nah, you don't need to drive," because she's going to drive. I said, "I'll drive." I didn't really drink that much. My daughter's like, no, you shouldn't, and mad because she knew I was drinking a little bit. And I'm like, "No, I'm fine to drive. I'm good. Let's just get in the car." Me and my daughter argue a little bit. We drive. I drove home fine. It was all good. But she got my ex's son freaked out because he's 9 years old. My daughter was like 13. And he's like, "No, you're drinking or whatever, not listening." Like he tries to go off on his mom. She goes, "No, I'm getting in the car, get in the damn car." And she got mad at him. I guess he was scared and texted his sister in North Carolina, and his sister called 911. So I get home about 10 minutes later, cops show up, and they do the sobriety test and all that, and I'm passing them. But the neighbor comes out because she's neighborhood watch. She's like, don't let him tell you wasn't driving. And so threw me under the bus, which, you know, yeah, I drove. I told them that. But the thing is, I told them I only had a couple beers, and that was earlier on in that day. I passed all the sobriety tests and all that, but they go, you want to take a breathalyzer test? I'm like, no, because I drank another beer since I got home. And I said, I'm probably going to fail. So I said, I refuse. They said, you have the right to refuse it or whatever. So you're saying, no, you don't want to do it? I said, yeah, I want to go with my right to refuse. I said, all right, you're under arrest. What the fuck? But they didn't want to have to jail anyway. But yeah, then what happened was, that's all I could talk about. It really got me. I was already starting to go into depression. Because I remember around that time I stopped making music and everything, and stopped playing video games and stuff. And so I'm talking to her mom, like, hey, what should I expect? You know, you had 2 DUIs, like, what's the court like, and this and that, and how much DUI class, and what does everything cost? And so my chick at the time's like, damn, is that all you're gonna talk about? And like, she wasn't really supportive, and so I stopped talking to her about it and all that, and just dealt with it, going to my AA classes and everything like that. And then she breaks up with me. So, what happened was, started drinking some hard liquor because her daughter moved in, and her daughter liked Hennessy and shit. I was just a beer drinker, but I was on anti-psych meds. We were talking about that earlier too in the show. So you should watch the whole show. I don't know if you were watching, but yeah, the meds mixed with the alcohol caused me to get kind of violent. And I didn't really put hands on her, except for one time I blacked out on the Hennessy. And when I came to, I had my hand on her throat. She goes, I can't breathe. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I let go. And she didn't like that. We almost kind of broke up, but we talked about it. And she knew that wasn't really me, that, you know, I blacked out. Well, a week later, I could feel myself getting pissed off at the table for no fucking reason, because I had some gin that her daughter had. And it was just mixing with my anti-psych meds, and I'm just getting pissed off for no damn reason. And then so she says something about being a hoe, and I'm like, we already talked about this, like, you shouldn't be bragging about being a hoe. It's not funny. You're in a relationship, right? So I started getting in her face, and she pulled out her phone to record me. I guess she thought I was gonna get violent or something like that, or she wanted evidence. I don't know, which I ain't like that, you know. But I smacked the phone out of her hand. I'm like, you're not listening to me. You're just trying to, you know, record me. You know, like, what the fuck's up with that? Like, listen to me. Like, I wasn't getting physical with her or nothing like that, but later on, you know, she picked the phone back up, tries to record me again. I smack it out of her hand again. Her daughter comes up, talks me in the eye. I didn't hit her or nothing. I didn't hit her daughter. But because I got hypey, she basically broke up with me about a week later. So I was pretty down, all fucked up, because I really loved her. And she fucking was going to kick me out. I had nowhere to go, so I had to stay there anyways for like 3 months, because I had DUI court for the first DUI. And this was up north. The only place I had, you know, come is Sacramento and stay with my dad or something. Well, that's a 4-hour drive. So I'm like, I have nowhere to go. You know, I just started this job 2 days ago, and you left me. Like, what the fuck? And she goes, well, you know, you don't have anywhere to go. You can stay here a little bit till you get, you know, money and get your own place. So I was trying to do that. I couldn't save money. So I ended up down here in Sacramento. But she said something about, like, well, I was trying to work it out with her. I go visit my kids from a supervised visit with her mom was there. And I start talking about, hey, well, you guys are talking about moving to LA so you can be close to, you know, your mom's school kind of thing like that. And I'm not going to be able to see you guys that often. I said, but I don't want to move to Sacramento. There's nothing in Sacramento for me, no job. I got 2 family members out here. I moved away for a reason. All my friends, my job, everything is here in Wairika, and I want to try to work it out with, you know, my ex. You know, I'm telling my kid's mom that, like, I want to try to work it out with her. I don't have nothing, nowhere else. You know, that's my whole place to say I'm about to be homeless. You know, so I'm freaking out. I don't want to be homeless. Nobody does. So she starts going off on me like, oh, you're choosing your bitch over your kids and this and that. I'm like, no, it's not the case. You're taking them away from me anyways. So I'm only going to see them twice a year, 14 hours or 8 hours, 10 hours. It's still twice a year, no matter the distance. Like, because court said I get them for a week in the summer and a week in the winter break. Other than that, they got school. They can't visit me anytime I want them to. You know, it was weekends, but she's the one talking about she wanted to move to LA closer to her school. That's what she said. Find out later, she's basically, her boyfriend's family lives out there in the LA area and has work out there. So she kind of lied to me and used the school thing as a reason. And now she's talking about moving to Texas because it's expensive out here in California. So I understand because she and him are the ones taking care of them. I pay child support and I send money to them when I can. But, you know, it is expensive out here in California. And they said gas is supposed to go up to $8 a gallon. It's like $5 right now. Well, I understand, but it's like, you know, because she gets paid and he works, he has a good job and everything like that. So, you know, it does make sense for them to be with her right now. Like, if I would have stayed with my ex, I didn't really have a place for them to stay. It was like a 2-bedroom place, and her son had the room. Back before that place, because we bought that place together. Before that place, I had a 3-bedroom apartment, so my kids had their own rooms and everything like that. Well, if she would have stayed in Medford, Wairika area where she was at, and not moved where her boyfriend's at, my kids would have been kind of like homeless, because I had to move out here to Sac, and they can't stay in this little ass trailer with, you know what I mean? So everything kind of happened for a reason, and they're being taken care of. So I can't really complain.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have been like, no, like if I would have not got a DUI and me and my ex split up, I couldn't have been like, all right, come live with me. You know, your mom don't got a job. So her being on aid and him working and all that, like if she didn't met that guy, I would feel like shit being like, all right, I'm going to take the kids and take custody of the kids. I live with my ex. We don't work out. I got to move to Sacramento. Where the fuck am I supposed to put my kids? Like, listen to this thing. This is what I live in. I live in a little fucking... I don't even have a room. That's my bed right there. I just throw my clothes on it and I just sleep on this little couch thing. There's no room for my kids. But so what happened was, she goes off on me. Our kid stops talking to me. I'm trying to explain to her, hey man, that's not the case. I'm not trying to choose my ex over you guys. I just want to not be homeless. I don't want to go to Sacramento. I fucking hate Sacramento. I moved away for a reason. Well, I go on my way home because they're mad at me. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, fuck it, I'm gonna get some damn beer then. They're all mad at me. I don't like when people are mad at me. It hurts my feelings. Like I fucking don't know how to deal with it. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna get some beer. I got 2 tall cans. I'm drinking them. My ex comes in the door. She's buzzing a little bit. She had some wine with her grandma, and she goes, I said, this is a perfect time to talk to her while she's kind of buzzing a little bit. Maybe she'll let me, you know, patch things up with her, you know. And then that goes with the whole communication is key thing. I agree so much. She would hold shit in until it bothered her and let it out after it's like we're broken up, and she tells me all these things that bothered her, just like my kid's mom did. It's like, communicate that shit when you're in a fucking relationship. Your relationship might be a little bit better, you know.
Most definitely.
But it's like, no, hold it in, be upset for no reason. Like I used to shut down in my marriage because I'm like, I can't talk to you. When I talk to you, it starts a fight. So I'll just go do the dishes and go do my music, and I'll fucking keep to myself. But no, I prefer to talk it out and be like, there's something bothering you. Let me know. I'll try to work a way around it. You got to talk to your kids' parents. Like you can't.
I'm gonna say something though. I'm gonna say something, Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. Sometimes it's not good when you first argue to try to work it out right then and there.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta give them that space and go talk to them a little later or whatever and work it out.
Well, it would bother her that I'd send my kids. I didn't have a child support case at the time, but I'm like, those are still my kids, and you got them full time, basically. Yeah, you're on aid, you know. So my ex-girlfriend didn't understand that, because her baby daddy didn't send her money for the kids and shit like that. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm gonna take care of my kids. So I sent her $500 a month, and I'm like, hey, you know, I got paid today, but I'm gonna send my ex some money, you know. And I try to talk to her when she's in a good mood about it, like. But I'm like, I notice you're quiet. What's wrong? I have to send her money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. It's not for her. It's for my kids, you know? And like it caused a problem, like where I couldn't even bring it up because I'm like tiptoeing around it. Like, how do I tell her I had to send money to my kids again? You know? And
She shouldn't get upset with that because it's your kids or whatever.
yeah.
You should
And it's
take, but she's in that relationship with you. She should take that with
right.
the situation with the relationship because you got your kids over here. You got to take care of your kids.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have worked out in the long
You
run
have to walk
anyways.
on eggshells.
Yeah, and you shouldn't feel nervous telling your partner. It's one thing if you're like, hey, I fucked up and I talked to my kid's mom and I told her I loved her or something. Like, that's like, hey, why did you do that? You know what I mean? Or something. But I'm like, I'm literally just trying to tell you I sent her some money for the kids. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that because her point of view is, doesn't she get welfare? And I'm like, yeah, but aren't kids fucking expensive? Don't they need clothes, not just a fucking roof over their head? I mean, yeah, I know she gets food stamps, they're eating, but my kids need fucking new shoes. They need fucking school bags. They need, all this other shit. So I know it wouldn't have worked out in the long run. She just wasn't understanding, wasn't very communicative.
And that's not the relationship for you then.
No. And it's crazy because when I was with my kid's mom, we had no compatibility. She didn't like the kind of music I liked. She didn't like watching like the UFC. She watched UFC fights, but she didn't like wrestling. She didn't like football. She didn't like anything like that. And I'm not a big football fan either. But she didn't like
have some kind of
she didn't like Marvel movies. I'd go to buy a shirt. She's like, that's childish. You don't need nothing like that. I'm like, man, it fucking got Apocalypse on it. That shit's dope.
I'm not saying you gotta have everything in common.
You gotta have some shit.
Yeah, we gotta have some stuff in common.
Right. So the thing is, the divorce happens and I get with this chick. We have everything in common. She likes the Raiders. I like the Raiders. She likes Tech Nine and Bone Thugs and Eminem, and I like them. She likes the movies, like Marvel movies. I like them. So, Venom and fucking shit like that. The Walking Dead. Like my ex-wife used to hate zombies and vampires. Where like she wouldn't even watch Twilight. Like, what girl don't like Twilight? You know what I mean? But she wouldn't like, Underworld or nothing like that. Like my ex-girlfriend did. She liked all that shit. And like we had super compatibility, but we had really piss poor fucking communication. And that was detrimental to the relationship. So the communication and her just not being mature enough to understand, she wasn't very understanding that, dude, I got kids with somebody else. Like, that is my ex-wife. Yes. I don't love her anymore. No. You know what I mean? Yeah. One of her friends pointed out, oh, well, he on his old Facebook, he said something about like, oh, it's a trophy wife and he really loved her or whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's 2 years ago when I was with her. I'm like, I'm not with her no more. Those feelings are gone. Now, if you seen that last week while we were together, then that might be a problem. But you're looking at an old post from 2 years ago. Like, the jealousy was just way so much. It was crazy. And I get being insecure, and I'm like, I blamed myself for the longest time. I'm like, I should have never gave you those insecurities. If I'm, I don't talk to her as like a friend. I was on the phone with my kid's mom and we were arguing, but it's like, well, why were you talking to her? Fucking, I'm trying to stick up for myself. Like, had a child support case, or child from the first DUI. She had to open up a CPS case because the cops told her to and all that. Like, you're going to court, you need to get custody of them. Otherwise, you guys can lose your kids, because there was an automatic CPS case started from my dumb ass. And so my girlfriend at times, like, you need to block her. You need to, she's just trying to ruin your life or whatever. Right. Well, I did block her for a little bit, but I had to unblock her so I could talk to her and ask her questions about my kid. Like, she's telling me that my son just got diagnosed with autism. Huh?
I said it's called co-parenting.
Exactly. You just because her and her ex don't get along and shit, and he's a piece of shit that beat her and all that, and don't want to be there for his kids, don't mean I'm like that. Like, you tell me my son got autism and you want to tell me about what the doctor said and what kind of foods he's allowed to eat and what he can't, and what kind of medicine and what time frame and all this, and how he's doing better in school. Like, I want to hear about all that because I'm his dad. You know what I mean? So what happened towards the end was her daughter moved in, and I don't think her daughter really liked us being together because it pulled away from their relationship. And her son was a little asshole, 9 years old, cussing and everything, being hella disrespectful. Anyways, that's besides the point. Veering off a little bit, but her daughter heard me on the phone with my kid's mom because she calls. She's mad that she had to keep going to court. So she says she lost her job because of me. She was working for like a month or two at a hospital, and said that her doctor was not appreciative that she had to keep taking Wednesdays off to go to court over the DUI shit. So she blamed me. She calls me crying because I asked her, I said, why are you living at your mom's house? Like, the kids just said they had to walk home from school, but I see them on the video chat and they got your mom's pictures in the background. I'm like, I'm not dumb. They're at your mom's house. You guys are living there now. Like, what happened? So she says, she calls me up crying, says, well, because of your fucking dumbass, I lost my job and I don't know what to do. And I had to move with my mom and this and that. And so she's calling me crying, blaming me. And I'm kind of arguing with her, like, it ain't my fault. Like, you could tell your boss you need to go to court. Like, you don't just like no call, no show or whatever, but like, it's called communication. Your boss would understand. Like, you're trying to fight for your kids and all that. They're not going to let you go. But I know my ex-wife, she never was able to hold a job. So yeah, it might be my fault you have to go to court, but it's not my fault you lost your job. I know you used it as an excuse and quit, because she did that with Taco Bell. She did that once upon a child. Her record was a week. She worked for a week and said, oh, you know, they were making me do stuff that wasn't my job, like dump out the trash. I was supposed to work drive-through. I'm like, you know how many jobs I worked that it's not in the job description, but you got to do it anyway. So,
everybody works as a team.
Yeah, you got to pull your weight. You know, not everybody's all day. Somebody going to be in drive-through. You got to do other shit. You got to wipe down counters. You got like, but you know, that's just how my kid's mom was. So I know I'm like, you know, you're using me as an excuse that you had to quit your job, but I'm sure you made that decision on your own. Like, we only had 3 courts and they were once a month. It wasn't no fucking back to back. They're not going to fire you over that shit. So I'm arguing with her while she's crying, and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry you feel that way and all that, but I'm not, oh, I'm sorry, let me make it up to you, I love you, none of that bullshit. Like, she never seen anything weird in my phone, texting her like I wanted her back. She never heard me talking to her any kind of like love. It was always like hate and arguments. Yeah, it's drama that I shouldn't have had to deal with. Yeah, I probably should have kept her blocked, but this kid's mom, man, you know what I mean? So basically, her daughter heard that I'm on the phone with some chick crying, tells her, and so when she comes home from work, she goes, so I heard you're on the phone with somebody crying, some girl. And I'm like, yeah, it was my kid's mom. And that's, as soon as I said that, it's like she didn't want to hear anything about why or nothing. It's like, oh, no, this is fucking done. So
It's called deflecting.
Yeah,
it's like, so communication really sucked in that relationship.
yeah, I feel you on that one. I'm gonna cut everybody up right here. I'm about to end the podcast. I'm about to go make some supper and shit.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. I talk a lot. I got long stories because I got the ADHD. I don't get to the point. I walk around the tree 50 times before I start grabbing the fruit. You know what I mean?
I gotta make sure to see what's up before you go grabbing for stuff.
I gotta go make some dinner and shit and spend some time with I gotta make some dinner and spend time with the other half or whatever.
Yeah, that's for sure. You got to do that. But
yeah, most definitely, and I appreciate it again for inviting me.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back.
My phone number's in the chat. Y'all can hit me up if you ever need to talk, or if you want to ask me questions. Don't hesitate.
Okay,
yeah, I got your number. Whatever. So
the long story short, I ended up going home, flipping the car because I went to the store to get more beer. I flipped the car. Got the second DUI after I was broken up with. You know, I fucked up my life twice. Don't drink and drive.
Hey, yeah, I'll thank you for coming on to the Take Me Away podcast. We'll be back on the 7th of July, whatever. So thank you, everybody. You have been on Take Me Away.
I don't see your number, though.
Podcast.
Text me, Lil J.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
All right, y'all. Late.
Later.
Take Me Away podcast. 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 Take Me Away podcast.